Good morning, my friends. I hope everyone is doing well. We are here. It is a crazy day, especially with what we got going on with the Fed. Some of the news that are coming out is insanity. Russia getting ready for war, even pumping. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts what we have in the world right now. So it's one of those things I feel like, oh man, and we're gonna look back at these times and go, "Whoa, I can't believe we lived through that." So, um, we'll see what happens and find out, how everything's gonna go. I feel there is this uh, almost this waiting period in the market. Like the market is literally, what's the word I want to use? I guess hesitant right now just because with everything that's going on in the world, it's just you just don't know. We don't know what's happening. So it's kind of fun in the sense that I'm in it. Like this is our reality, for lack of a better word. Um, but then also at the same time, I feel as if it's not fun because we're in it and we're living through it, and this history is real. Um, hey Josh, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Um,
Doing good.
yeah, it's just it's crazy. I'm talking about the world situation, Russia, cryptocurrency, the government. I mean, Iran is coming out with their own central bank currency. So it's crazy. I mean, what are your thoughts, man? With because I mean the market's right now obviously going sideways for the Fed's meeting, and it's just kind of chilling. But it's one of those things that I feel like it's scary, it's fun, and it's really fun, scary, and scary fun.
You about put it right. Yeah, I would say it's a little worrisome.
Yeah,
Um, I was actually just talking to my grandfather
man.
about all this stuff, and he's like, you know, it seems scary, but I think it's just the news and how readily available all of this information is, right? Because if this
Mm.
was currently happening 40 years ago, we wouldn't know about Iran
No,
doing
we would.
whatever Iran's doing. Like yeah, but we it wouldn't
Oh,
be all over everybody's Twitter page, and it wouldn't be all over your
good point.
Instagram, and it wouldn't be
Good
all
point.
over your Facebook.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it would be like yeah, it would be
On the morning
you know
news.
on the morning news real quick, and it'd be a quick snippet because that's they didn't really broadcast that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's like yeah, there's a little bit of there's like extra hype because of how readily available information is these days. And he said, I've been through a lot of ups and downs, and this isn't really any different than any other up and down with any kind of impending war or debacle in the world stage. So I'm like, well, that is, I guess, true. It just seems aggressive now because now more than ever, people have picked sides and are forcing information everywhere. Like I can't scroll my Instagram feed. I just want to look at cars and crypto stuff, and every other post is something political or something about a war or something about China or Russia. So
I,
that's my
I
thoughts on it.
I see that. I mean, but the thing is we at least know what our government's doing. We at least know. And to me, I would hate to be in the dark. Like the idea of like if you would have known, like okay, I'm gonna bring this up for example.
Yeah,
Russia, okay, during Stalin's time, they killed it was 28 mil. I forget
a
how
lot of
many
people.
people. A lot of people. Let's talk about um Nazi Germany, right? Like
Yep.
I don't think Nazi Germany would have ever truly happened. I think they might have gotten some power and stuff like that. But if we had social media at that time and a lot of stuff that was going on, there would have been, people did escape from, these camps. People did. excuse me, Auschwitz. Not Auschwitz. Why am I forgetting how to say the name? Lord, forgive me. Forgive me.
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz.
Yep,
Auschwitz. I'm
close
messing
enough.
it up. No, it's not okay. I forgive me, my friends who've gone through stuff like that. But I put this up because if we had social media and if we had things like that at that moment in time where we could honestly sit there and say, this is happening. I mean, America, I believe, would have been in an uproar and would have been like, F that. We're getting in the war now. Right? Like they might have known, but I don't think they knew to the extreme of things.
Yeah,
And so I even think the German people would have been like, no. Like, I know my
no.
Jewish friend here, my Jewish friend here, are they good people? And you're sending them for this? No, sorry. I think there would have been a much more. So it's like,
Normally, I'd agree with you, but we just went through a pandemic, and Americans were ratting on people for not wearing masks just so that they can look good on social media. So, if anything, Nazi Germany probably would have taken over farther because of how gullible people are and how quick people are to pick a side that sounds good. I mean, we all know that it was terrible. I get it, but he did convince millions of people that what he was doing was right and what he was doing was the only way to do it. And millions of people hopped on board and ratted out their neighbor like the next day. So I don't think social media would have come to a stop. I mean, we just had riots, right? That were encouraged, and businesses and people were getting injured, and people were encouraging people to injure people over a movement that they thought was righteous. So
okay, so
I don't. There's a debatable, right? You see
well,
what I'm saying?
I think we're comparing apples to oranges, and the reason why I say that is
That's
because
true.
it the the injustices that are going on right now that we see in Iran, and some of the stuff that are going on, injustices around the world. There's been
Right.
major movements where people have stepped up. Now the pandemic, whether you say it was right or wrong, shutting things down, right? People were dying, and that statistically we can see the flu and people dying, very similar numbers. And whether you want to use that, okay, I'm not going to fight that. What I am talking about is true injustices, right?
No,
Kind of
no,
like right,
no.
like right.
You're twisting what I'm saying real quick. Hold on.
Okay,
Let
go ahead.
me.
No,
What
please.
what
Okay,
what I'm what I the reason I brought that up is
okay.
because we're talking about information, and
Yes,
that
I
we think
got you.
that it would have stopped that the information flow that we have now, we wouldn't have allowed something like Nazi Germany to happen.
Got
And
it.
my argument was, look at all these movements that people quickly hopped on board without knowing what was going on, right? They just
Got it.
hopped on
Okay,
board
got
because
you.
what they thought
Yes.
was, that's what I was saying. I'm not
I
trying to
hear you.
get
No, I hear you.
political about
No.
the
I think this is good.
vaccines or any of that garbage.
This
Yeah, yeah.
this is this
So
is
what
good.
I'm
This is
saying is,
yeah.
information spread is only oh so good.
I
I
understand.
agree we should have open flow of information. However, I don't know if it's 100% what we need. Like, I think what we need is a hacker to go through and shut down social media for like
Maybe a
a
week.
month.
Uh,
I
I
was
look
thinking
at it
like a
like this.
month, and then we could go back to newspapers and kind of calm down a little bit. I feel like anxieties will go away for some people.
Well,
You know what I mean?
that's interesting. That is, I mean, I feel like, I mean, I'll put it like this. All right. So Iran, who's been on a number of sanctions throughout the years with us, right? They've created their own digital currency that they are pushing this through, just like Russia is setting up their test net for
Yeah,
their own
they're
blockchain
writing right
future.
now.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they're going to town. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, like it's real.
it's
Like
wild.
it's nuts what's going on over there, right? The rioting and yet crypto is at the center here. Like, and people don't realize like how much crypto plays a part in all of these world events. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's crazy that uh like the fact is that the US government, that's weird. I wonder where Bull is. Normally Bull's right up in here in the mix. I was hoping he would be here. He should be coming in here in a second.
The man's
To
got
make
like
sure.
83 different projects going on, so
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure he's
does.
he's he's making some sort of call on his channel or the other
Yeah,
channel, or maybe he's helping this project or Moon Rock, or maybe he's doing something
yeah,
prior he knew. He might be
yeah,
running his own business. I don't know. The man's all
yeah,
over the place.
yeah. He is. He's always got he's got many irons in the fire, definitely. But it's real interesting to sit there and engage, man. Like that, the U.S. government has been looking to do this central the central bank current digital currency, right? And they're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think let me see if I can get the article here real quick. Iran, boom, EU, and that's another one, the EU, right? Here we are.
Yep.
I think I didn't pull that up. Pushing. It basically that the U.S. government basically made not necessarily a official statement, but in the U.S. government up in the Capitol Hill, that they're basically bringing up the fact is that we probably should create something like this because we shouldn't be left behind in regards to the technology that cryptocurrency is
Yep.
moving. So it's almost like, well, we
Right.
should do it, but it isn't
Yeah, we should
like
because everybody else is doing it, but we don't want
exactly.
to get left behind. But
Yeah,
we got to make
yeah.
sure that the way we do it snuffs out everybody else because hashtag government.
Yeah, exactly. But we all know
Yeah.
that the government does a phenomenal job at running things, and they're very efficient. I mean, just look at NASA in
Oh
the
yeah.
60s, 70s, right?
They do
80s,
great. Yeah.
great. So then once
They're
private,
really good at it. Yeah. Super proud of them. Yeah.
super,
10 out of 10
hoorah,
would definitely hire them to run my country. Oh yeah, definitely. Government definitely knows best. I would. Yeah.
definitely, definitely,
That's
definitely.
yeah. One definitely 100%. Yeah.
100. So yeah,
Okay.
speaking of the government, the EU finally finalizes legal text for landmark crypto regulations under MiCA. So basically, it's this thing that they're trying to push through, where they're really trying to take care of and understand, kind of like what we're doing with the crypto legislation, right? They're trying to figure out what's going on and how they're setting things up. And it's funny is they're having a hard time with ETFs, right? And because ETFs is changing a lot. I mean, you have dynamic ETFs that move back and forth, right? And then you also have stabilized ETFs that basically just hold information and that are immutable. Whereas dynamic ETFs, they're basically ETFs that communicate. All right, let's say you have a car note, right? And let's say you in the future it turns into a ETF or not ETF. Why am I saying exchange traded funds?
So you're not meaning to say
NS.
ETF, man. You got me messed all the way up. I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm,
Listen,
Pedro's over
I
here
did
doing
not
all kinds
have
of drugs, guys. I'm so sorry. This is
dude,
not how the show's supposed to go. He's just making stuff up on the
making it
fly.
up. Just
I
here we go.
apologize.
Yeah. Um, I mean, not exchange traded. I was looking at exchange traded funds today, honestly, and I was checking out some things that I was looking maybe to get into because Russia. I mean, listen, I look at these things and there's good businesses being run over there, right? Like there's things. So I'm looking at maybe some NFT. E, wow, NFTs. Wow, ETFs. Wow.
An ETF NFT?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty much what's going to
Actually,
happen. We're just going to start merging stuff, you know?
there we go. There we go. There you go. There's a new project to be created. No,
It's
I've been
like
looking
kind of like time capsule staking. You're just trading capsules of funds that's in an
exactly,
NFT form. See,
exactly.
look at that.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Slam it. No, so but I bring this up because it's really interesting. Right now, the state of the world, right? Like, if people who would have bought, you know, companies back in Germany, right, or other companies when after major catastrophes happen, right? These companies basically have a meteoric push and do an amazing job, right, as a business. So I'm definitely looking at like distressed good businesses in other countries to gauge, um, right, if they're a good investment. And so I was looking at some ETFs. So that's why ETFs are on my brain this morning. So forgive me. Now let's jump back to what I was saying.
What were you saying?
NFTs, NFTs
Oh,
right
okay.
now. Thank you. That
Okay.
the EU is finalizing their legislation and kind of going over their stuff, but they're having bit issues and problems, kind of dealing with the immutable change and non-immutable change of some of these NFTs. So it's really interesting to see how they're kind of gauging through, and you can actually go through. I'm going to post my my LinkedIn page, and with that, it's basically going to have my like the articles that I have on my on what we're talking about. But it's really interesting to see what they're actually doing, and this will be down the road, right? When we are once we get off this, you guys will see you can actually go through and pull up a lot of these articles there. But it's really interesting what they're doing by finalizing all of that, and it literally just came out here, so it's really interesting to see what they're doing. Basically,
Big
if you want to go,
moves.
yeah, it is. There are some big moves happening with the with EU with the European Union and how they're trying to deal with crypto. How do they regulate it without stifling it, and how do they really allow it to be able to foster and to grow? I don't think they're trying to stomp it out, right? I don't think that they're trying to like not work with it, because I think there's so much stuff that they can do there that they realize, wow, there's some there's potential big moves that they could do and create. Um, I know that they were able to communicate and talk with Russia through cryptocurrency to get oil, right, and get around honestly the U.S. sanctions. It's crazy some of the stuff that they've brought up, so or that they've done, and a lot of those countries, were hurting really bad and still are hurting regarding crude oil and what's actually happening with it. So it's really interesting to see what when we as we move forward. What are your thoughts on that? Do you know what I'm talking about? The actual the news section or no?
I haven't actually cracked the news open. I've actually had a pretty productive day running
Nice.
around. So I was actually about to say, hey, I'll hop on in a little bit. I gotta head back in and grab another car. I got an inspection to knock out real quick.
I got it. I got it.
Sorry about that.
No, it's
Don't mean to
okay.
leave you high and dry there.
It's okay.
But I
It's
figure
all
I
right.
hop on and say hi, and as long as this inspection goes smoothly, I should hop back on here around lunchtime if you're still rolling.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Well,
All
I
right, my
might
friend.
be here. All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. All right, later.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Bye. So one of the things I do bring up here is, and it's just kind of crazy, is that the Iran real it's is basically being set up as a central bank digital currency. And so what they're able to do is set this up as a test. I don't know if it's a full test net or if they're actually going to be setting things up completely, but it is it allows them to be able to really kind of start, you know, interchangeably working with the rest of the world again. So I don't. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We know that they've done a lot of stuff that's not cool, um, especially with women's rights, and how we see certain things go about. China, very similar stuff that they're doing. So it's really interesting to see how crypto and blockchain is in the heart of this, and really allowing company, or not necessarily companies, but countries to actually get around certain sanctions. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know yet. We'll find out. We're in 5 years, we may look back and go, "Dang, that should have never happened," or be like, "You know what? We're now in a new space. We're in a new position in the world where it can. We it's a good thing, right? It brought prosperity and help throughout the world. So it's one of those things I feel like is very it's good, but it's bad at the same time, right? We're not able to see. Also, you guys are probably noticing some new stuff on my charts here. A lot of these lines, I had a friend of mine who a new friend that I made yesterday, and he was basically explaining to me some of the stuff that he has made, some automation stuff. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to test it to see how it works with my system and play with it. So I do like how it did play, though, just to throw it out there, Chris. It did play off of my area here, so it is definitely one of those things that, I'm really interested to see how this works fully. Um, it's actually really cool to see. Anyways, probably should go into the disclaimer real quick. This is no investment advice. The information provided in this video and website and live stream does not constitute as investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice, and should not treat any of the video and website content as such. I, Moonrock Capital co-host and guests, do not recommend that any cryptocurrency or any other assets that are mentioned should be bought, sold, held by the viewer or listener. Do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. I am not a financial advisor, and this content is only meant for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a tax professional on any gains or losses as a result of investing into crypto or any other assets invested in. This is not financial advice, but is for entertainment and social educational purposes only. Um, so it was really interesting to see some of the stuff that we see this morning. Just the fact that cryptocurrencies are out there, really playing such a big role in what we see going on. Now, it's really interesting to see yesterday as um, Russia basically come out saying that they are mobilizing for military war and all this other stuff, right? That they're going. Their whole Putin was basically saying that the West was vilifying them and how they were basically just trying to hurt them as a nation. So when that happens, the stocks fell, right? Supposedly after, right? There was a huge sell-off that we saw happening because of that. And this is and it was really the Asian markets that where we really saw the fall and the drop, where we saw huge amounts of things going on. Whereas the U.S. market, it was, we had a fall in the morning. Here we go. Where are we at? So this is, I believe this is today. This is yesterday. So this is yesterday's drop here. Boom. After they actually came out with the news for us. Then in the evening, we really saw the fall late in the evening. And then now we're rallying back up. I say that because when we look necessarily at Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin fell, man, we can see that the push was so high that it was kind of astronomical push. It was like, whoa. So it's one of those things that I'm looking at going, wow, that's really impressive that we have a much stronger rally in regards to these statements. And the other thing that I bring up is Bitcoin going to become the security when things kind of get crazy? Are people going to run to Bitcoin? Is it going to be the flee to safety like gold was? Um, I think as time, and I bring that up because of what's going on with Russia. Now, when let's look at gold here real quick too as well, right? We see gold here rally, right? But I don't think you have the same type of rally point and percentage level push up as in necessarily Bitcoin. So this is, I need to, what is that, 81 to the 81, we'll say 80, 86 to 69 to 86. So that's about 15 points, 15, 16 points, right? And we look at the fact is that it's in at 16. So is that point, I think it's 1% move, right? And let's check out Bitcoin here real quick. Falling from here, we have 18,810. 18,800. It's 26. About 600 points. So what is that on that? A little bit less. It's less than 1%. So I would say maybe not so much. Just the movement of this. So really interesting to see this flow off of here. Real interesting. Yeah, maybe not so. But who knows if in the future we might see it, maybe that Bitcoin becomes the fleet to gold or the fleet to safety in regards to currencies and other governments running into. Who knows? We'll see. It was really interesting also to bring up that guy that we talked about who basically bought the Fort Knox of gold for the Asia. So it's interesting to see. Is crypto going to start peddling and selling gold too? So we'll see what happens there. Real interesting stuff. Now let's go ahead and bring up the fact that there was a judge. So as we know that Tether right now is under an investigation, as well as they're in court right now. Basically, people talking about them saying that they don't have enough backing for Tether. For each coin, there isn't enough dollars in their reserve. And so there was a judge that basically said to them, listen, you guys need to provide statements saying that you do. And so Tether claims that the composition of its reserves is commercial sensitive and revealing it would damage their business. So are they trying to skirt around this, or do they not have backing? Is if they do come out with this information, are they saying that, hey, we're going to go through? Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. And we'll jump right back into the news here in just a second. But I want one of my co-hosts, if you are, are you able to talk? Are you able to say something, my friend?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing? Hey, real quick, just to give a shout out, just so people know who you are. Tell about a little bit what you do. Even our friendship and how we just kind of developed it, and then also talk about kind of like what you look at in crypto and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for shooting me the link to hop on here. My name's Chris. I'm a founder of DeFi Skeptic. We're just a DeFi based. So I know you probably talk about all kinds of things on here, but we're DeFi based company that looks to just clean up the space. We provide a full slew of services. You can get all the information you want at defiskeptic.com. But we provide tons of developer and user-based services, mainly stemming around just cleaning up the DeFi space. So project vetting and auditing and KYCs and contract developments, marketing, design, with the overall goal of just, doing it non-maliciously and highlighting projects that are non-malicious, and just sort of shunning the ones that are malicious. You can't prevent scams. There's always going to be scams, but what you can do is highlight projects that are not scams, and then show people that, hey, these guys exist. These non-scams do exist. Here they are. Just don't interact with the other ones. And you can also teach people what to look for. So
there you go.
Education is everything in a space like this, where absolutely, you're getting into something new. It's so easy to scam people. I can create a project right now in 10 minutes with a cookie cutter WordPress website, a copy and paste contract, and throw $5,000 at it for marketing and get a bunch of calls. And I could probably turn that around and rug it for 15, 20 grand. Wow. It's very easy. But you need to know what you're looking at to avoid stuff like that. So that's why we exist. That's what we're trying to curb. I actually started talking to Pedro about just trading indicators and things of that nature. So I shared with him some volatility-based deviation stuff, and it actually it's what I've been using for
right now
for a very long time. Make sure you adjust the deviation. I see it's 15%.
Yes.
Make sure you adjust the deviations, the percentage of volatility. So you got to go to the actual deviation script and adjust it.
We can do that later. We'll take care of that later. Yeah, so, and you guys will see this stuff up with this tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it, man. I speaking of scams, because I was just talking about the Tether liquidity situation, right? And now, right now, are you familiar with what's going on with the court case and what's been happening?
I am, yep.
Yeah. So my question is this. Now they literally, this is how they were able to push back against the actual judge who ordered them to to say, hey, we need to make sure that your financials are really up to par. And this is what they said. Tether claims that the composition of its reserves is commercially sensitive and revealing it would damage its business. So are they saying if they reveal their stuff, their paperwork, that it will show that they are up to par, but now you know how they go about, positioning things and making sure that they're able to, I don't know, sustain whatever Tether is at? Or are they saying if we reveal, then you're going to notice that we are substantially under the water here because there's no way we have a 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, that statement alone says to me, yeah, we just got caught with our pants down. But I don't know, maybe I'm one man looking at this article and I just don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, when it comes to a stable coin,
Right.
you want people to know how you're keeping it stable. That doesn't make sense to me that it would be a secret. The only reason it would be a secret is if you just didn't want people to know the nonsense that you're trying to pull. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's stable, it's not hard to keep something stable, right? You leverage it against, you back it with something that's stable, right? Dollars or yen or whatever your stable coin is backed against that holds a 1-to-1 ratio to itself, or you leverage it against
Leverage, I was
something.
going to say.
Yeah, you leverage it against something that is stable as well. Yeah, I don't see a scenario where you wouldn't share that information.
Right. That's what I keep thinking. I keep up with this, with the court case here, and I'm just sitting there just going like, what is, I don't, it boggles my mind, right? So it's like, I mean, I want them to be, honestly, the truth is I want them to be stable, right? Like, because if they aren't, if they don't have like that 1-to-1 ratio and stuff like that, that's really gonna hurt the market. I mean, when we look at coin market, coin market cap, and we look at I think they're the third, right? Yeah, they're the third largest per capita. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's $67 billion right there that they're worth. So it's like, are they really worth that? I hope that they are. And if they're not, I think that's going to they'll depeg. They'll completely depeg. So, and if they depeg, I'm pretty sure USDC, it's going to fall apart as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out, because if they do come out and they show that they're insolvent and they don't have a 1-to-1 ratio, I think potentially could kill the crypto market. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean,
Yeah,
go ahead.
well, with BUSD and USDC, I know BUSD is fully backed by dollars. I believe
Yep.
USDC is 100% backed by cash as well. I think they also add in treasuries, but mostly backed by US. With Tether specifically, they have all kinds of stuff that backs their price. They are not just pegged to dollars. They have multiple different currencies, and I believe they use different types of assets as well to create their pegged $1 price.
I agree. I agree with that. That's one of those things I find very interesting. And we're gonna have another guy. He's one of our other co-hosts. He comes in and he talks. It's gonna be Brinks. He understands. He actually works with Vetter. Are you familiar with Vetters? Or
I
Vetter?
am, yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of their top scout, or not scout, excuse me, Vetters with Vetter. And so he comes in and he talks and he brings up like new stuff that he looks at or other things. So I think he'll be coming on here in a few minutes. He's popped in and he's popped out for whatever reason. Somebody must have been calling him. He's always getting calls. That's the one thing, that this man is a busy man, like, because he networks a lot with a lot of stuff. So he'll be coming in here in a minute. But what I find interesting is, all right, if let's just throw this crazy situation, okay? Just throwing this out. USDT goes in. Hey, Brinks, how you doing, brother? You doing well?
Could I have a question?
Brinks, you there? We're hearing a lot of background information, buddy. A lot of background noise.
When he left,
Brinks?
and rather than call up the directory, I don't think I have his number anyway.
Hello?
Maybe you can answer my question.
I'm gonna pull you out here for just a second. All right, Brinks. Hit us up in the private chat, or just mute yourself. There you go. Like I want to paint this scenario, because if this falls apart, right? I really do see a lot of these other coins falling apart as well. Just like when we saw with Voyager or a couple other things, like things, I mean, the crypto market is volatile by nature. So one small / major situation that happens can completely turn everything down. So I think that's what we could see if this does depeg. I don't see USDC and BUSD falling apart, right? I think they're going to stay stable. But I think we could see Ethereum as well as Bitcoin really kind of fall off the deep end and see them really basically get down to that next level that I'm calling out, which has been 10,000, like 13,000, 10,000. But we'll see. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have necessarily one way or the other. I just when you talk about stable coins, which one has stability? In my opinion, I think BUSD is probably the most stable. I don't. Looking at every other one, well, at least the major ones, Tether, USDC, and BUSD. BUSD is primarily backed by US dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you talk about, okay, well, what is USDC backed with? They're backed primarily with, well, not primarily, but they have a large portion of cash. I believe cash comprises about a quarter of their backing, but they also have short duration treasuries, so they have a lot of non-cash backing. Those are rather stable just because of the nature. They're low risk U.S. treasuries. They're it's like bonds almost. That would only really collapse if the U.S. economy collapsed. But when you talk about Tether is backed by cash equivalents, multiple currencies, multiple economy, various interest-bearing assets, commercial papers, bonds, loans. It's backed by all kinds of stuff. So I don't think you can really call it a stable coin. At some point, it's going to depeg. It's going to be, it's world economy based, right? So like, depending on what's going on in the market and what's going on around the world, it's very easy for Tether to just become unpegged.
Absolutely. I think that. And when that does, it's going to be really It's going to be really interesting to see the ripple effect of it throughout the rest of crypto, especially when it comes. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who also have USDT in their hard wallets, where they are. Let's say a hard wallet, but in their wallet that they exchange money towards, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see, as this court case keeps pushing forward, how much of the market cap here is going to remain, right? Like some of their statements just isn't. I know. I have a few of the other stable coins. I have a little money in USDT, but just because once they came out and started talking about what they start when they made that statement last night, or I think it was yesterday, I just said, I'm done. I can't even play with this. I can't. I pulled any USDT out that I had, and I said, I switched it to another stable coin, because it's just, based off maybe where you're looking to, if you're messing with Ether, if you're messing with the Binance, is it Binance network. It depends on what you need, right, in regards to how you're getting in, getting out of plays. So it's just I can't play, and that listen, and I'm not an emotional guy in regards to pulling out, with like what's the word I'm gonna look for? I'm not fickle in where I really want to place my money, and once I do, and it's there, it's steady. I keep it, right, but I can't imagine anybody else, like if other people are looking at that and if they're remotely fickle in how they place their cash, I wouldn't keep my money in. I couldn't keep my money in Tether. I mean, this is where like I sit there and I'm going, this is I don't see it holding up. And if it does depeg, like you said, when it does depeg, I can't say that. If or when, we'll find out, right? But if it does, the ripple effect, I think throughout cryptos, I think we're going to see major sell-offs with Ethereum, with Bitcoin. And I think it will be a great potentially buying opportunity for me. And I don't know if anybody else, just like I said, this is here's the disclaimer. So just so you know, Chris, anything you say, it's all for entertainment and educational purposes only. So just so you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, but I think it's really interesting to see this. What are your thoughts, Brinks? What are your
It,
thoughts
it,
on
it,
Tether?
yeah, I just got on, but I kind of caught what you guys were saying.
Oh,
I heard a lot of sketchy things about Tether. It's still more stable than Luna was, at least.
UST. Oh,
But like I heard that I don't fully know what exactly it is, but I heard something a while ago that Tether it is backed by dollars, but they haven't proven to anyone that they have the fiat reserves that they claim that they did do. So in my mind, it's almost like it's almost like the equivalent to the Federal Reserve, and how they used to have everything, but like every dollar used to be backed by gold or by silver through through what was being held in the Federal Reserve and the Treasury. But over time, the dollar depegged, which is why we have so much inflation. So it may look like Tether looks good on paper, but from what I've understood, you can't really verify it at this time.
Well, they
So
do.
it's
Tether, BUSD, USDC, they all do post regularly the attestations of their latest holdings. Tether, for example, from tether.to, here's their latest one.
you want to send it to me, and I'll just post it in the
Yeah.
you can just if you post it in the comments section, if you go up and you'll see the comment section. And then you should be able to put it, or if you want to put it in the private chat, you can also do that, and I can
guess
post it as well.
Yeah, I'll post it in the private chat. I'm not logged in. It won't let me.
Oh,
So there's Tether's latest report. In there, it will outline, their holdings. So it's reserve breakdowns. That's strictly from Tether. That's right from Tether's website as of June 30th, 2022. That's their latest report. So as you'll see, they have multiple digital tokens, secured loans, corporate bonds, precious metals, cash equivalents, short-term deposits, commercial papers. They just have all kinds of stuff that is not stable.
So there are ways to verify it, but it's not fully backed by the dollar. It's backed by other types of assets that fluctuate.
Right, correct.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
so that's their report. Now, when you compare their report to, for example, something like BUSD, here's BUSD's. And what's important to note with BUSD specifically is that Tether reports their own attestation, so they provide their own transparency report, right? Like it's Tether providing the information. Maybe they just provide you with whatever information they want to provide you with. But with BUSD specifically, they're let me find their report. Hold on. They have auditing getting done by Paxos. Paxos. So when you read their report, it's coming from a external auditing agency. It's not coming from, Binance. So here is theirs posted in this private chat.
And why would that be important? Why would, if it was coming from Binance per se versus an external auditing company, why would that be important? And just so that our viewers would understand that.
Yeah, so I just posted that one in the private chat. You can post that one in the comments as well.
Definitely.
That's Binance's. That comes from Paxos, however you say that name. I don't know how to say it, but
Don't worry.
yeah, that comes from then. It's external. Like when you're auditing something, if you're going to present an audit, you want to make sure that it's not, coming
It's
from
not
you.
biased.
It's like yeah, take it like I code a contract, right? I code a smart contract, but then I
Yep.
audit it too. Well, yeah, I mean, of course it's going to be biased because I'm the one that created it. It's near impossible to make something and then audit it and not be biased because you
Absolutely.
are the one that made it. So, unless you have a very independent list of external contractors that are auditing you internally to your company,
That
maybe,
actually weigh in. So it
yeah,
actually
maybe
will
that
sway.
might help. But
Yeah.
in the example of BUSD with Paxos doing it, you know that it's coming from an external agency. They audit multiple companies. They audit the Pax Dollar. They audit Binance, Pax Gold. They provide reports for various things. So it's not they have no legal or financial obligation to Binance to lie. They're not controlled by Binance. So they provide their independent assessment and they post it. So with the one that's posted, you can see how they're backed. It's much different than the one that Tether posts of themselves, which still shows that they're not fully backed by U.S. dollars. They're backed by multiple different things that have volatility. But again, it's coming from Tether, so who knows?
Now, here's the thing I also want to bring up. I mean, and in regards to altcoin news, I want to bring this up because it's one of the articles that I want to bring in. With the stablecoin regulation within the U.S. Congress bill that they're actually trying to push forth, right? This is where we've been seeing Senator Warren really hit hard on, right? Like these stablecoins, y'all need to like regulate these, right? If U.S. Tether does not fall, or if it does, like somehow they do a restructuring of what they need to do, right? And it doesn't meet, right? Do you think that the U.S. government is really going to just start coming in hard and just say you can't play crypto world can't play no more? Sorry, it's done. Because I mean, we're talking. There's a lot of Americans. I think it's 14% of Americans have at least played with crypto or dealt some stuff with crypto already, as we know to be, right? That's 14% of the U.S. So that's a large portion of. I mean, that wins elections. So do you see that the U.S. government coming in and just stomping hard on this, or do you see them trying to figure out how to handle things with that?
Nah, I don't see them coming in and stomping hard on it. They'll continue to do what they're doing of trying to regulate various aspects, like mining and who and where you can store funds and things like that. But again, like US we like to think we're world controlling, but at the end of the day, we just control what happens in the US. We have no say to what happens around the world. I find it funny when the US is like, oh,
Sanctions.
we're going to,
Yeah.
sue, excuse me.
Sue Iran or sue Russia, right, for doing XYZ, or we want to sue some smaller country, right?
Well, yeah, they had Binance in the news
Yeah.
lately. Like the SEC wanted
Oh,
to
Binance,
put sanctions and, sue Binance or whatever for how they had initially
yeah, SEC.
raised money through an IDO back in the day. And it was like, they're not even US. They're not even US based, man. They don't care what you say, like.
Well, what do you think about the overreach of Tether and how the SEC is saying that, was it like 46% or 40 something percent of the nodes are in America? So hence, Tether is American and we're going to be able to regulate it. Like how does that work? How does the SEC just kind of, and they're definitely bullying crypto in a sense, right? I mean, some of the lawsuits that they're putting against some, influencers and other major coins, they're really trying to push this. I mean, you think they'll have actual stand? And I'm actually talking right now on my LinkedIn account with a guy who's a lawyer. He's an international lawyer, I believe. And let me make sure that the statement is correct. But one of the things that he brings up, and I hope he's right. Holy moly, it's amazing. You hit the off button, and for whatever reason, my off button on my sound is not wanting to work. Forgive me, guys. That's the second time. But he basically is saying that just the idea of Tether being, a worldwide company, and they can't, they really hold no grounds. But my statement is, the SEC don't care, and they do have a lot of power around the world. I mean, the SEC in the U.S. does pull a lot of strings in other European countries, as well as a lot of the new countries being built up in Africa, and South America. So it's not a small thing to sit there and say, okay, the SEC just came at you. I mean, your thoughts on, SEC coming after Ethereum, right? And where they're claiming this is ours. Because that in turn goes into what we're seeing with Binance. And if this holds true and there's real litigation that happens, we could see some major turmoil in the crypto market as well. What are your thoughts?
I'll let one of these other guys if they wanna hop on.
Brinks, what are your thoughts, bud?
So pretty much, are you're still talking about like the regulation stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to say because in a way, like with all the scams and the rug pulls, I think to a degree something should be regulated to a degree, just to protect people, but also at having too much regulation, it isn't a good thing, in my opinion as well, because if they try controlling it too much, then they can manipulate it, because I forget if it was you or someone else that I heard the other day, kind of talking about the insider trading and because like certain politicians, not going to name names, to try to avoid the political aspect of it, but certain politicians during COVID, right, but before the shutdown, got caught doing insider trading because they work in the House and the Senate, and they knew what regulations they were just about to pass. They ended up selling stocks right before the market crashed because they knew what they were about to do and with regulations. But they don't get in trouble for it. But if you work for a company in the crypto space and you sell, no, even if you just buy right but before something gets listed, then they're all over you. So
Well, I mean,
it would make it easier for them to manipulate things in crypto. And also it makes things harder as well, kind of like with the KYC, like back when crypto first started, you were completely anonymous. Nobody knew who was buying what. And that was the whole point of crypto. But now the only way you can buy crypto, unless you're buying it from a friend, it is by doing a KYC. So stricter regulations will cause stricter things like that as well.
and also that also depends on where you're buying and selling and where you're going through, right? So if let's say you go to Monero, right, to buy and sell, right, and then you're able to basically hide your assets, supposedly hide, right, until we've come out and find out later, but you're able to then mask your stuff, and then from there you can actually go through and decide where you can put that into a wallet, whether it's Trust Wallet or MetaMask, right, and then from there buy and exchange.
True.
So
but
good.
The only issue with that though is you're gonna have to KYC to get your money into Monero. So like even if you're not directly buying it, say you're buying XLM from Coinbase, you have to KYC to get your money into Coinbase. Then you have to send the XLM to KuCoin, so you're able to buy Monero, and then you send it to your DeFi wallet and do whatever transactions you're gonna do. It's private at that point. But then when you want to convert it back to fiat, you still have to go through the KYC and all that.
What I find really interesting also is the amount of businesses that are now just taking crypto, where literally you can go in with your wallet. I mean, I know here in Connecticut, like I can go to a bunch of places and literally just exchange wallets. Just like here, do you take it? Boom, click, and it's real simple and easy. As well as in New York, it's another place you can do that, where people go through. I mean, there's a mini mart right up in Bridgeport. I was shocked. The guy was taking crypto, like where you could literally just send stuff to him. And so
oh wow.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that, oh, Chris, that's beautiful. I see that. That's nice. All right, I see what you're talking about. It was yeah. So there's places that are taking it that you can literally just go through and exchange finances back and forth. So it depends, right? Like I think there's going to be a lot of that. I mean, I don't think. I mean, there. Not that it's an underground. It's not an underground world, right? It's not like underground, like drugs or whatever, right?
It's not like the black market.
Yeah, it's not like a black market. It's just simply, man, the guy wants it. Guy wants to take crypto. He wants to be able to get crypto, and if you want to go in and buy, let's say, for example, during the pandemic, a lot of people put their money into crypto, right? And so we're still, I mean, we're kind of at pandemic levels right now. So people are still got money, and if they were able to be smart in how they just not even be smart. I mean, most people were just lucky, right? And put their money into certain things and really capitalize on the major move of the market. With that said, this guy, I was asking, I was like, well, how many people you think come in here and pay in crypto? And he was like, probably about 10%. I mean, 10% of his business is done with wallet to wallet transfers. And he's basically accruing, and this is in the ghetto. This is in not the ghetto. I mean, I don't. What do you call the ghetto now? I'm trying to be PC here. I just messed it all up. Anyways, less financially prosperous places, right?
Yeah.
You see these things, so it's really interesting to see that aspect of the market and how it's working. I think it's really interesting. We'll see what happens.
I hope more places could start doing that.
Yeah, and I don't think, and listen, right now we're in the bear market, right? Like we're in the bear market, we're accumulating and stuff like that. But when the bull market starts again and we start to see another rally and Bitcoin halving comes closer, right? We're going to see a huge push, and then people are going to become more, because crypto is becoming more accessible, as well,
more adopted.
More adopted. It's becoming adopted into the world's ideology.
Because like even people that aren't involved in crypto are wanting to get involved in crypto.
Yeah.
They're just, but at the same time they are also being cautious because they don't understand it, and it's very volatile. So because like I have a bunch of people that know that I do stuff with crypto that come up to me and they're like, hey, should I buy the should I get into crypto? And I'm like, if you have money that you're willing to lose, it wouldn't be a bad idea. You'd be getting into crypto at way better prices right now than I got in. And they're like, that's what I'm scared of. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you can never put more than you're willing to lose, because like chances are, but most likely, just as long as you don't sell and you're in the top 20 coins in 5-10 years, you'll most likely be up, because that's pretty much how the market works. It'll go up like crazy, then it'll crash like crazy, then a couple years later it goes up to new highs.
I think you're hitting a good point. Just with in general within crypto, that people get in and they want to be involved in it, so they just start buying and selling without actually understanding the full aspect of what's actually going on. I think that's also very similar to what we see in the stock market as well, right? I remember when I first got into trading back in 2006, I just wanted to get into it. I wanted to start playing. I wanted to play in the sandbox. I wanted to climb the the stairs and go down the slide, right? You want those ups and downs. And so then when you finally get burnt, like your first time, like my first real burning was 2008, right? Crash, right? And I remember just being like, what is going on, right? But we had seen it already in the charts back in 2000 to 2002, right? With the drop of the market. So I just thought, how's that possible if you have two major like crashes in the world? But that's the nature of the markets, right? So I think the more people we bring into the market, and I think I forget exactly what it is, but I think it's, if you make less than 50, is it 50 or $70,000, that there's only like 2%, 3% of the actual Americans are not even like that are actually in the market. I forget the exact numbers, so forgive me, but it's a very, very, very low margin where they're actually putting money outside of their bank, right? Where they bring money in. I'm not talking about 401ks. I'm talking about those things. I'm actually just simply talking about people who put their money into crypto or put their money into the stock market. It's a very, very low amount within the stock marketplace like that. But I think crypto is one of those things that is almost like a gamble play sometimes for most people. They're like, oh man, let me put it on red, right? And see what happens. So, and that's more of like a, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, especially the pre-sale micro caps like we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things that actually happen, and we look at. Real quick, let's go ahead and look, because I want to bring also up real quick that we actually have today some major news happenings happening. So let's go ahead and go in today real quick, because these things would definitely be moving. Go ahead.
So, sorry, Pedro, to interrupt. I just have to get going.
Okay. No worries.
Just didn't want to drop without saying anything.
You're good, buddy. It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in here real quick.
Good seeing you too. Sorry it took me so long. Had some technical issues.
No worries. Hey, what I'd love to do, man, also is have you kind of maybe this week bring up maybe the next thing maybe you're looking at and you're vetting. I mean, obviously, I love how you bring up your red flags as well as your white flags and the goes too. So bring up. I know that we've been talking about a couple things, so love for you to bring up and just kind of talk about it if you got time.
But we'll do. Tomorrow. Tomorrow you're doing one, right?
Yeah, we do it. We're pretty much going to start doing this every day at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That would be 3 o'clock UTC. So
weekends too, or just Monday through Friday? Monday
through Friday. Based off of, I mean, honestly, if I start getting a lot of DMs of people jumping in and saying, "Hey, I would love to hear your thoughts during the weekend," we'll continue that as well. I am in a lot of private chats as well, so I do a lot of technical analysis and stuff like that in these private chats as well. So it just depends on what people want. I'm a man of the people. I want to help the people out. I'm bringing on good guests.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got somebody who shouted you out. Artemis shouts out. Great feedback brings.
Thanks.
Awesome, awesome.
I'll talk to you soon, Pedro.
All right, brother. Talk to you guys soon. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, how you doing, Chris? You still there, buddy? Or are you busy? Probably a little busy. I know he's a busy man. He runs businesses and he's got a lot of other small stuff that he's doing. All right, guys. So I want to bring this up here real quick. Existing home sales did come out. It's going to come out at 10 o'clock here. That already passed. We also have, and this is going to be the FOMC economic projections. We also have the Fed starting their talk today into tomorrow. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the market today and tomorrow. Also, tomorrow we have the job numbers. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Had a little hairball there for a second. Give me 1 second. Tomorrow we've got jobless claims coming out as well. So it's another thing that we need to be mindful of and paying attention to. It's got a really packed. That's going to be about 8 o'clock in the morning before the market happens. So it's really interesting. I typically can be able to gauge which way the direction is going to be in the market. But because we've really had just kind of a sideways market this week on the S&P 500, I'm just a little bit off here. I don't know where to pick necessarily. So I'm really, really trying to gauge where we're headed and what's actually going on. So let's go into the day chart here real quick. It's going to be really unique for me. Pardon me. Here we go. I'm going to have to pull that out there real quick. And 1 moment, guys. Okay. So, one last one here. Why is that? Borders. I'll just take this off for now real quick, Chris, so that I can play off of this. Here we are. All right, so we can see here that the market since Monday, we were right here, and we're still pretty much at equilibrium for the week. We're pretty much at a doji here, so don't necessarily know which way it wants to go. We have the big push up, which I typically say if we have a push up in the morning and afternoon into Monday and Tuesday, then we're typically going to see a sell off in the markets, right? But as you can see, we're sitting right now at this doji level, so we're pretty much at an equal upper and down wick here. So for me, as I'm looking at this market, I'm definitely seeing kind of indecision. It doesn't know where it wants to move or where it wants to go. But I do have to admit, Chris, if you're there, that it did hit yesterday's equilibrium here. So I find that very interesting. I wonder if we'll see an actual sell-off down into, and it's funny, where my demand zone on the week is, where I'm a buyer really, is where your lower level from yesterday is at and today. So it's something that I find a very, very interesting. Very interesting. You can see here that your lower levels sit right here as well. So I find that very kind of cool. Anyways, we'll find out what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Forward. Definitely. I'm actually really looking forward to that. That's actually really cool to see what happens. It's actually really cool. And it's also in my supply level here that I have. I actually had to shut down my computer here because I had technical difficulties. What is happening here? Come on, let's see. And so whenever something that is support, and when price goes through, it typically becomes resistance. So your area here is in my resistance level on the ES. I'm curious to see, and I would want to know what was your positions on with where we at the NASDAQ here, the NQ. What were your positions with the NQ yesterday?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look through its trades. I just have it coded to where it shoots me an end of week report.
Yeah.
What happens during the week, I don't really pay attention to unless it throws me a flag. So if I do hit 3 losses in a row, it will throw me a flag, and then I can come in and see what's going on, just to make sure it's not like a malfunction in the code or something like that. If it's just losing trades, that's just part of the game. But
Right.
if I hit 3 in a row, which is not the norm, then it throws me a push notification, and I'll go look at it. Other than that, I don't really look at it.
I'm just curious because I really want to see how this plays and how this works in relationship to what I look at the markets and stuff like that. So I mean, for me, I have my weekly zones here and my SMAs that I play off of. So I definitely wonder, and it does hit the SMAs. So that's what more or less is kind of blowing me away based off all of this.
Yeah,
So
let me see. Pull up the software I run my script through. It doesn't have visuals. It's just code.
yeah,
but I can apply the same code concept to indicators and make it show visually on a chart.
I'd love to see what you see, my friend.
So based off of NQ's volatility, what were we talking about yesterday? Yesterday's session?
Yep. Yesterday's session is what I'd love to see.
I'll shoot you a screenshot so you can sort of see what it was looking at.
Yeah, and this is going to give me I'm more or less for the full 1 point because I don't mind the quarters and halves and all that stuff, but I'm more or less looking for the full extreme movement of the market, right? That's really because, like you said, I really try to catch the move of the day versus the micro moves, which are cool. So for me, so that's why I'm so interested in what you're doing here, because it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's very brilliant. But let's jump right back into the charts here real quick while Chris is setting that up. And let me know when you're done, Chris. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
I do see us coming back down into support area here, as well as if the news is negative. And I think primarily that most people will be negative or will be short. I do see us in the actual morning. So if we start to see the market rally into tomorrow, okay, and we start to see some real pushing in the market where we see this rallying even in today. Like right now, we're kind of going sideways. But if tonight after the market and into the morning, we see it rally up, be ready for it to maybe hit into these upper levels here where I've talked about the SMAs here, guys, because it will hit those. And I'm, like, again, I'm curious to see with Chris, where his stuff is going to be at, where we hit these levels where I have set up and to see how the market's actually going to react to it. I personally think we're going to see the market start to rally up into this evening and in tomorrow, right? Just simply because I think they want to stop a lot of people out right now, the way the institutions are working, right? Because institutions are starved for orders, right? I've talked to you guys about it. They're always looking for orders. So one of the things that we always need to be paying attention to is if the market is pushing up into the evening, and again, I could be wrong, whether it goes up or goes down, we want to pay attention to the movements of the market as it's of the major news reports. So if the market is going down, typically into the evening, into the morning, we typically will see then a rally up hard, right? And then vice versa. If we see the market move up, we'll see it drop down. So they're always looking for orders. That's what we've watched enough times of Jim Cramer and a bunch of other guys that talk about manipulations of the market, right? We know that there's been major manipulations in the gold sector and a lot of the commodities with was it Bank of America? I forget who it was, either Goldman Sachs guys, but there was a major lawsuit that was brought up and they finally finalized it with all these guys just saying they're manipulating the market. Absolutely. The markets are manipulated, not based off of fundamentals, but based off of where are the orders and how do we basically stop people out, right? So that's why I'm always looking at, thanks, appreciate that, Chris. That's why I'm always looking to see how are they tricking people? How are they punking people is what I'm looking for. Boom. So I can't see the price on that. Shoot. All right, let me look it up here real quick. on the NQ here. So that price
Yeah, that's
here
the
would have been.
screenshot of yesterday's entire day.
So we'll play here, right here, real quick. Yesterday. Boom, drop. So that's where. So this is where it's the equilibrium right here. So that was at the base right there for this candle. Right there. So it plays.
Yeah, you can just
Then we
draw
want-
just draw like a horizontal
black
line right at the
Yeah.
session open.
Yeah. Trying to see where it is right there. Session open. Where you at, buddy? There.
Are you what time
Right there.
zone are you?
I set my computer up a couple of different types of time zones based off the trading and how I want to see my actual zones.
Okay.
So, yeah, things are a little bit different. The market, they do play with certain things in the market, and so for you to be able to see the correct time zones, or the correct zones in your chart, you need to make sure that you kind of, unfortunately, make sure you have the correct stuff set up. So here we go. So it was the 12:0 or 12:04 here. So this is where it was. So we can see here and see that it tapped real quick. Boom. Yeah, nice. Nice, my friend. Nice.
And you'll want to
Seeing
set
that.
the deviations to 34%. Right now it's set at 15. So if you just edit the file, it has an input. Just change it to, or just click the settings.
Yeah.
Just change that to 0.33 or 0.34. That was the volatility yesterday. And that will adjust your deviation bands to what the implied moves were for that period.
So you would have caught this move here. Actually, I wouldn't have been trading. That would have been trading more right here at the 9:30 opens. So yeah, I would have been short here until we got into our demand area right here. Then right here, once we started putting in really more or less this right here is where I would have been really looking, because we started seeing the trend break and finding support. So I definitely would have been long about right here at 12 into these upper levels here. So not so. This right here, I would have definitely been looking at this. I would have definitely been looking at this one right here, being like, okay.
Yeah, that's with the screenshot I sent you, that lower one where it's tapping whatever that green line you've marked is. Right below that, the red, that's that lower deviation. So that's the 0.75, negative 0.75.
And what
deviation.
I'm looking at is I'm not seeing any seller wicks coming down, right? So as we're coming down, I definitely know that they're not looking to keep shorting. So for me, I'm definitely looking to go long at this area. And once I start to see them putting in buyer wicks and we're blowing through this area here, definitely long on that retracement, especially that I have the confirmation of institutional quant funds pushing up from here.
Check that screenshot I gave you, because when you look at how it tapped that lower level,
I was looking at that.
The ATR ratio was neutral, so it was not a strong move going into that deviation. So it took that trade. It took that trade as a rejection and went long.
Woo! That's pretty, baby. That's pretty. Sorry, I don't mean to be weird. Yeah, I definitely see that right there. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this works out in conjunction with what I'm doing. Just gonna pull this out here real quick, man. I love your stuff. We definitely I'd love to have you come on a daily basis. If you're open, man, from 11 to 1 or even 11 to 12, love to have you just pop in and just talk and BS with us. We're always BSing. Normally we have Crypto Bull here with us, but he's another guy who is in a lot of call groups and he does a lot of stuff. And his major is actually in political science, growing up, and he's paid attention to the wealth of knowledge on this man in regards to like pulling. He's like, well, if you look back, in the 70s when Libya was doing it, and I'm like, whoa, he just pulled that out of his pocket. So, you know, like it's really cool to have him come on and talk about politics and also just crypto in general,
Yeah.
right? Because this is a crypto show.
Yeah,
But
it worked
man.
out. Usually, normally I got stuff going on around 11, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays, normally I can probably make it.
Yeah, man, come through. We'd love to have you, man. Just talk about even new code stuff that you're bringing up, that you're messing with, and even, you know, I know you're very well respected in the industry. A lot of people know who you are, and you do a lot of good stuff with just helping people out and basically trying to teach them, hey, this is a skill. Oh, you basically teach like the bank does, right? You know how they teach with money, where it's like if it's good money, if they know what good money is, when they come across bad fake money, the feel of it just doesn't feel right. So they immediately know, oh, this is bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't go out and find scams and say, hey, this is a scam. We just highlight if a project comes to us and they're like, hey, we want you to audit us. Okay, we'll go through everything, but know that it's gonna be a full report on the entire project. It's not just your code. So if you have some shady stuff going on in your Telegrams and your Twitters and your past history of your team members being involved in scam projects, and if there's anything weird in your code,
Yeah.
you know, it's all going to get exposed, not just what's going on in your code. So we look at 7 categories that comprise a project, not just smart contracts. Smart contracts is one of the 7 categories. So yeah, when we go through a project, we really go through a project. We go through the core team, the community, their overall utility, their code, their wallets, their pairs and liquidity, all the details surrounding their launch, and it's like a fine-tooth comb going through all that. So we use multiple different tools, digital tools, to go through stuff like that. Some stuff we pay for, which is why the vetting has a cost associated with it. Otherwise, I'll just make it free. But
hey, man,
yeah,
you're doing good work. A good work needs to get paid for. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's so true, or at least advertised, right? Like, you know, not that you need a quid pro quo type of thing, but look, you do great work, and I know that the Ninja Lounge would not have you, and I know B's wouldn't, or JB's wouldn't be like, oh, he's great, right? Like she's done her own homework, she's seen your work, and
yeah, it's
you're
we try to make the report as comprehensive as possible. So I try to add as much relevant information in there as possible. So like if you look at the latest one we did with Block Vault, we go really far into just their entire project. You know, not only what their contract can do. I got some negative feedback about this one specifically, from just a random person, and their negative feedback was, well, like, why is there so many red flags in the contract, but yet they still got a 90% score on the vetting, 90.16, and that's because we look at multiple factors. Like it's not just a contract audit. They scored negatively in the contract, and nothing was vulnerabilities. These were just functions that they had a lot of control over. So they could change fee with no max. They could technically put it at 99% tax. They could do a max wallet and max transaction as low as they want with no minimum. They could turn trading on and off. They have the ability to add a gas limit with no minimum, so they could technically lock you out of trading completely. So for those reasons, even though they're audited, you know, even though the tax is currently set low, and even though certain aspects are in line with good, they have the possibility to do these things, right? It's not about what the
yeah,
contract is currently set at, because who cares what it's currently set at? If you can change it to do what it's allowed to do, then that's what matters. It doesn't matter what it's currently set at.
yeah,
It matters what it can do. So they scored negatively in the contract piece, but everything else in the project was great. The utility aspect was good. The team, we went through the whole team. They were good. Their communities were non-bot loaded, professional, non-hypey. You know, their pairs and liquidity were all on track with what we look for. Wallets were, you know, good. Everything around their launch was, you know, rather well. It's just the contract side that they hit low on. And it's important to know that it's not vulnerabilities, it's functions that they can control. So it boils down to, do you trust them? I mean, that's really what it is. Do you trust this registered business, fully doxed team to not screw you over, because they have the ability to? So that was one of the rebuttals we got by some random person, was just like, well, how'd they even pass if they can do all this? Because it's not a contract audit; it's a full project audit.
It's almost like when people eat like one superfood, right? They're like, oh, this is going to be great, and it's like, well, the whole entire body needs a lot more nutrition than just antioxidants, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll do good for a minute, and it's like that's what you guys do. You guys are doing a full body report where you're sitting there and it's like I almost feel like if the the Eastern health system as well as the Western health system was to come together, right, and really use a full body, with what you're eating as well as with what your like broken arms or antibiotics and things like that, if they were to come together, and that's literally what you've done, right? You've literally brought as a health system for crypto, right? You've been able to bring not just the contract side of things, right, which most people look at, but they don't necessarily look at the full understanding of the Twitter account, the the Telegram account. Is it botted? Is it, these are some of the things that I think that when Brinks comes on, he always brings those things up, right? But to have you along with him and to be able to really communicate, I think you guys would be great, even just working together, right, to be able to sit there and say, and so he could promote certain projects that you're looking at as well on better. So I think it would be a win-win. One last question, if you don't mind me asking. I know you probably got to go here. Where can we find you? And can I pull you up on my website here so people can come and find you? Where can we get you at?
Yeah, DeFiSkeptic.com. That's our main page. That'll have our social links all at the bottom. You can hit our team page and see the team info. We're on Telegram, Twitter, Krogram, YouTube.
I'm going to put this in the comments, guys. So if you want to go and reach out to them, if you are a DeFi project and you just want to get variability from a financial standpoint, they are a lot cheaper than a lot of the major auditing companies out there for crypto. I know they do a great job, and I feel like they do more of a full scope of things. And so if you could sit there, it's just a matter of time before you guys explode. I mean, honestly, Chris, I can't. I look forward to be able to say that the day, yeah, we had him on the show.
Yeah, the vetting is entirely different than audits. If you hit up our developer services in the menu there, you'll see what we provide.
Right here.
Yeah, so it's important to note that products and services, just hit up developer services. So
developer services.
Top one there.
Oh, yeah, product and services.
For developers, yep.
Or for developers, DeFi developers. There we go.
So that's all we provide for developers. So anything, basically all stages of a project, everything you would ever need, we provide. But specifically contract audits and KYC, because for our vetting, we require that the contract already be audited. We provide audits, line by line, manual review audits, or we'll accept audits from a reputable provider. Ones that are not just software checking audits, because if there's not an actual person looking at it, it's not an audit. If you're just running it through software, that stuff doesn't see things like variables getting their name changed from, blacklist is not a library term in code. It's a normal word. It's just a text word. It's an entry. So when there's a blacklist in a contract function, right, you can make that word whatever you want. You can call it bananas. It doesn't have to be the word blacklist. And contract auditing software, a lot of them don't check that stuff. They just look for keywords, but you can make the words whatever you want. So unless the audit is being done by somebody manually, physically reviewing the code line by line, then it's just worthless. So we'll accept audits from reputable providers, or we'll do them ourselves, but we require it be audited. That way it just looks for vulnerabilities already prior to getting vetted. So once they come to us with vetting, they're either publicly doxed or KYC'd already, and their contracts have audits on them.
Nice. So you guys just really do kind of the fine tuning. Now, do you guys do any type of advertisement for projects, or are you just primarily just focusing primarily on this?
Yeah, so once a project is vetted, that opens up doors for a lot of other stuff. So we want to really like work with projects past the door close, where a lot of other auditing firms or even vetting firms. There's some other vetting agencies out there. They don't quite go as extensively as we do, but they do vet projects. But they stop at the door, right? So you pay, you get your vetting, you get your report, and then that's it. Their job's done. What we want to do is that's the door. That's opening the door. So we want to work with you forever. And what we provide is a database. They get the badge, just like any other firm. But then we have a networking group that we've set up for all vetted projects, so they can start talking. That's where we connect with them for collaborative events and updates and new things that we've added to our ecosystem. We've got a bot, the Vetted Circle bot that vetted projects can use. They submit us an update, a project update. We'll screen it, make sure it's not a shill, and then load it into the bot, and it will shoot out to all channels that have that bot added. So if you're a vetted project and you want to take advantage of that, you add the bot to your channel. You're allowing other vetted projects to provide updates in your community, and then in return, you can do it as well. That bot's currently in 16 telegrams with over 50,000 users as far as user eyes go.
Yeah.
We're partnered with MindToken exclusively to provide vetting for their staking pool or their staking platform. So anybody that wants to open up a partnership staking pool there, that when projects go there and partner with them, you can create a staking pool. The benefit of doing it through MindToken as opposed to just adding a staking pool to your own DApp, MindToken offers real life benefits. So if you want to add staking to your project, you just add staking, you start giving away free tokens, right? Like that's the benefit, is free tokens. But on MindToken, you can pay their onboarding fee and they'll create a staking pool for you. Then your entire team gets real life benefits, which consist of multiple things, right? So they have LifeWorks, who they run through. And as a partnering program, you'll get access to financial planners, lawyers, doctors, fitness programs, health and wellness type things.
Really?
Yeah, just from the partnering with them. So those are benefits your core team gets.
So you're throwing out. So because I actually have MindToken, right? Like I didn't know that they offered all this. I haven't been paying attention to them,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I've bought them. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and then if you stake tokens on their platform as a user, so they provide benefits to project teams, which is like a benefits package like you would get in a normal company. And then users that stake tokens there, they get those same benefits as well. So like if you bought tokens, you could go to MindToken's website right now and stake them and get free access to financial planners, lawyers, fitness programs, doctors, therapists, health and wellness services, and all this stuff.
And how much does it cost?
I don't know what the minimum.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know what the minimum staking value is. I think it's like $50 or something.
And I mean, and are they still underneath? Is what's his name? I forget his name. Who's still running it? Is he still doing? I know this is also he's really huge into the music world, right? Is he still doing a lot of that stuff kind of going on or no?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's still doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we offer that through MindToken as a benefit. We also are partnered with Program exclusively to provide the in-app vetting for them. So projects that are vetted through us automatically can go create a group in Program and be vetted. We provide a community engagement tool. It's a slot machine bot people can use. We have discounted AMA tours. Yeah, we've got discounted AMA tours that we have through Ninja Lounge, Coin Lounge, Legit Crypto, and Anti-Ruggers. And there's some other stuff that we're currently in the process of adding to that benefits list, just fine-tuning the details.
I could give you some a couple other I didn't know that you also offer that, man. I could actually give you a few more other call groups, and I mean, if and allow them to be able to, because I know they probably give you a good discount as well. So by working with them. So I'll swing them your way and have you connect with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Should be really good. Definitely, man. I'm really stoked about this. This guy, man. I would love to
check out their website. It's mindtoken.app.
I shall right here. Mind.
App. Yeah, And then if you scroll down somewhere it's like a couple scrolls down, it'll go over the benefits you get. Yeah, keep going. It's right there. So that starts the free access to all that stuff. So if you stake tokens there, you get free access to all this.
Man, I wish I would have bought more than. I'm mad at myself.
Yeah, and you can just click on mine staking and it'll take you to their staking dApp. I don't know the minimum you have to stake. I want to say it's like $50 worth, maybe less. I don't know. It's not a lot. So there it is on the left, some benefits of staking with mine, this, and that. So once you stake, it'll ask you if you want to get the benefits. It'll ask you for an email, and then they'll shoot you like the onboarding information. So see how these project staking pools, Snafu and NAGI, whoever they are, they've partnered with Mine Token as a project. So now anybody on those core teams gets those LifeWorks benefits, and anybody in their community that comes to Mine Token and stakes those projects tokens gets those real life benefits.
I got to introduce you to Moonrock and their new idea that they have going with the time capsule. I need to do that because I think this would be a definite benefit for this as well. For the they've taken DeFi to another level in the aspect. I mean, and yes, I am a dev, full disclosure, but I see this in conjunction with what what they're offering, and to even add another realm of security here, because this is major stuff. This is really major stuff. So as it starts to get more popular, I see these things just getting. This is going to be huge, absolutely huge. They're literally taking. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I've actually been thinking about doing something similar to this with life insurance, right? And as things get moving, right, and moving forward, being able to use life insurance and being able to get it for extremely cheap, right? Especially with the markets and how low they are. This is the time to really like load up on cryptocurrency as well as the staking benefits of major coins that you could literally, I mean, like people who bought in the 1930s, right? When the market dropped during the Great Depression, right? Now those companies are juggernauts, titans of industries in the insurance world, because they were able to buy at such a low base. Now that their benefits when it comes to dividends, it's large. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to be able to use this. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Not even from an investment standpoint. Like, who cares what the price is, right? And it's just the benefits, the utility of the project itself, just providing these real life benefits. So, and whereas normally you would pay money as an expense to get this stuff, here you're purchasing a token, you're staking it, and you're getting these benefits. And then you always have the option to unstake and get your money back, or get whatever it's worth at that time. Maybe it's less, maybe it's more, but you don't lose you're not giving up money to get these benefits. You're putting money in a lock to get these benefits.
Yeah. It's basically like you're using a CD, even though staking is not a CD, but you're basically using a CD in a bank to get the bank's, life insurance, health insurance, right? And other like life coaches.
It's pretty cool what they do. I mean, if I didn't already have a very robust healthcare plan, I'd be like, well, I mean, I've got lawyer on retainer, I've got access to financial services, I've already got telemedicine stuff through my normal insurance. But like, if I didn't have that, this would be an awesome solution to fill the gap. And this is an awesome solution for people worldwide that don't have that stuff.
Yep, I was about to say people in third world countries, right? Like people who are in Ecuador, right, or places that are, like really bad places. Even here in the United States, where you can't afford, right, to get life or get health insurance and all this other stuff, right? You could actually offer. You could stay here and actually, be able to get this stuff. So it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, and I wanna get. Let me see if I can find just the minimum, because it's really important to know the minimum.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know what? Do you know the CEO of Mine Coin?
Yeah. There's two founders that I'm in a chat with.
Love to have, if you could bring them on, man, we'd love just to even bring them on and have them talk about their stuff here on the show, and even like, talk about stuff they're thinking about doing. And we could talk about charts as well. So I don't know if they're chartists or if they look at charting, but I'm always about looking at things. And we can see here that NQ and ES is pushing up. So about to see what happens. I think, like I said, we'll see if
Oh,
it
there you
does.
go. So it's 5K tokens. So they have 3 pools, right? You see the 1 month pool, 6 month pool, and 1 year pool.
Yes.
So it's 5,000 tokens if you want to join the 1 month. It's 30,000 for the 6 month and 65,000 tokens for the 1 year. I don't know what that is price wise. You'd have to go to like KuCoin or something and get the price.
Well, I
But
mean, 5,000 coins, man. I mean, was that $50?
yeah, so
I mean, and this is the correct contract, right? This is them mine token here
yeah. So
on
what
BNB.
is that
Yeah,
price?
but that's nothing.
0.008.
yeah. So it's $50.
Yeah,
50
well,
to
like
100
for the
bucks.
year, if you wanted these benefits for the whole year,
Yeah.
65,000 tokens times 0.008 is $500.
500. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
So
So
you buy $500 worth of token, you stake it, and now you have these benefits for the whole year, and then you still have your tokens, like you didn't
yeah,
spend them.
it's your money.
Yeah.
It's still your money. It's not like it's a bill where you pay a insurance company and then now you
Yeah,
got to cough
you're
up
not losing
again.
money each month.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is you hold it. As long as you hold it, you get the benefits.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. And is this around the world? So what
Oh yeah,
other?
worldwide.
And so let's say, what do? Do I go in? This is where I want the CEO to come on and have him talk, because, like here in America, right? We take out our card. I go to the doctor, right? They take it. They charge my insurance company, right, that I have, boom, and then either I pay a deductible or something of that nature, right? How do I go into my local doctor and I say, do you take mine token, right? Like, how does that work? So that's why I would love to get him to talk about that stuff, and even what his plans are in the future, because I think there would be it'd be something to know about it, and especially be able to help out people from around the world, which I think is so important.
Yeah,
Especially
all their services are digital, so you wouldn't actually be going to like a physical location.
Okay.
I think they have some physical benefits, but most of the stuff listed on that website, they're all like digital services.
So then I would just call somebody up who is, let's say, like legal. We'll talk to legal.
Well, you get
consultation.
onboarded. So when you sign up, you get an onboarding email. You can stake your tokens right now, and you don't have to get these benefits. If you want the benefits, it'll ask you for your email, and if you supply your email, it'll send you an onboarding registration, and then you can sign up and get everything. And everybody has their there's certain providers for certain things, right? So like you'll have telemedicine, or you might have a financial planner. Those are individual different people, and it's so it's a pretty cool service, man.
It's definitely.
It's cool because as a project, you can come to these guys and join them as a partnering project. They'll charge their onboarding fee, which I don't know off the top of my head exactly what it is right now. But they have an onboarding fee. So you come there as a project, you pay their onboarding fee. Now everybody on your team gets these benefits free. They don't have to stake anything. They just get the benefits. And then anybody that is holding your own token for your project can go there and stake those tokens. They don't even have to buy mine token. They can just stake your token and get those benefits as well.
We need to get this out there. Maybe in the back of my mind, I always think about the protocols that get hacked, right? And especially the fact that with liquidity pools and everything that correlates with that, right? I need to, like I said, I need to get you connected with Moonrock and have you talk about certain things with them regarding what they're doing, what we're doing. So I think in partnership, I think we could definitely alleviate some headaches that might come down there. Because in the back of my head, like when I think about this and staking, right, I always think about liquidity pools getting hacked. And so I think this is where, and I think it's just a matter of time before this explodes, right? Like they'll need it really is just a matter of time before this just explodes. Just really is. Yeah, I'll definitely look into mine. And how do you find mine? Is there
They got a
Telegram
web.
up here?
Yeah, they got the website. Their Telegram should be at the main page down at the bottom or top somewhere. I know it's linked on the page somewhere.
Definitely, guys. We'll put that
I
stuff.
just shot them a message in their Telegram, seeing if either of the two wanted to hop on here. And I don't know if they'll make it in time though.
It's okay. We don't even need to do it. It'd either come on tomorrow or the next day. I mean,
Cool.
It's still Wednesday, but it would be awesome if they wanted to come and talk about it. Or we could even schedule, because I still got to get into the charts here and talk about where I feel the market's going to be moving.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Do you want to jump in and just tell me what your thoughts are as well?
On what? What we're doing right now? Where we're going?
Yeah, with maybe where we're
Man,
going.
I don't. No, I don't want to do that.
And just so you know, Chris's style is very it is very unbiased in the market. He has certain rules, and they follow certain rules, and he goes in and he makes his money and he gets out. So it's not one of those things that he's looking to maybe divulge or whatever. But it's something though that
I'll fully divulge it. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't subjectively trade. Like I don't control.
You don't do what I do.
Pushing. I don't control the button pushing. This code controls that. So like right now, it looks like we're on NQ at least. We're hitting up to that 0.25 deviation. So.
And for me, this is where the gap is at. So I feel like as if this is definitely going to be hitting that support there. So
ATR ratio is a little on the
high side?
Well, kind of high, kind of mid. So the script would treat this as a rejection. So it's likely going to take this short trade. It probably already did. I don't know. I'd have to go and look.
See, and for me, I'm sitting there. I want to see it go up just a little bit higher here into the space here, because let me put this on to see where it. Yeah, so here we go.
Let me check.
Yeah, so it would have probably taken this.
Yeah, it's already entered in short for this deviation rejection. So
yeah, he said it, and it just looks for 1 point, correct?
No. So it measures what the ATR ratio is.
Yes.
It'll adjust its price target by how the market's moving. If the market's moving rapid, it'll have a larger price target. If it's slow, it'll have a lower price target.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. I love it. You can see here. I feel like I'm more bullish on this movement up, just simply because what I'm seeing until we get into these levels up here. I do see us maybe coming back down and hitting the retracement down into the 8-period moving average, and then more on a higher time frame. Let's go and look at the 4-hour here. We're setting up more of a doji here, so it's really interesting to see it play off of these levels. Real interesting. Very, very interesting. Sorry. So yeah, man, I see that. I can see that. Why it would want to short off of that right there, just simply because. Now, with the major Fed news coming out, with personally, they're going to hike it. They've talked about 75 basis point or a full point, right? Where they want to push everything fully high on it. What do you think that's going to do really to the market at large? You think we're going to see a drop in the market? Or you think we're going to see maybe it kind of go sideways? Do you think the market's already priced that in?
Oh, the market prices everything in. If there's news that is soon to come, people, big money already has made their positions.
So you're an aficionado of the market view then.
Yeah, they big money has already made their position. It's retail traders that get information last because you don't pay for it, right? So people with Bloomberg terminals and people with back-end access and people that pay thousands of dollars a month to get information, they're getting it first, not you. You as a retail trader, you're not getting that information first. So by the time you see it, they've already made their positions.
Absolutely. I do agree with that. All they're looking to do is now take out the last little steps to push things around and in and out. And this is where I look to capitalize on the markets, whereas we see, even though they do get it, they do use it to Like, so let's say that they're long, right? Let's say they're long, but they're long back here, right? Like they start positioning their positions maybe a week prior because they already know where the report is going to be, right? Like especially the monthly reports, right? They've already gotten the information. So I feel as if they're the ones who are actually pushing it. So I feel like on the previous day, or maybe the day the prior, like on Monday, they already start to place smaller positions in to push the markets up in certain directions to either flip it around to stop people out. Because personally, I think ultimately that majority of institutions are starved for orders. Meaning, if they're trying to go long, right? Well, as they're trying to go long, the market's pushing up, right? And so the reality is they need shorters or sellers to step in so that they can meet their buyer side, right? And most institutions trade the same way. So you're always looking for the retail trader to take the opposite end of your position, either your exit liquidity or your need for orders to push in a direction, right? So
Yeah.
I feel as if you can gauge which way the market wants to go here. Since Monday, or we've seen the market dropping, or since last week, we've seen the market kind of drop in this little position. Like I believe this is Monday of last week. So we see here that we're right in this like doji level. Here we are, the month. Here we go. That month level here for me is we're kind of just, actually personally, I'm looking at this now. I see it's more short than actually going long and coming down into a further level of the 18 or 38.19 area, just personally, as we shoot down further towards the end of the month. I think these levels right here, 13 or the 38.19 to the, here we are, to the 35, 27, 26 level here is also one of the major issues or major points that I think we might see a major sell-off to. And the point out, and one thing I did like, I can actually see positional moves in the market, almost like an indicator, right? Do you see that?
Yeah, it'll kind of give that to you. I mean, it's just kind of that'll
just
flow
following
with
the
the
market.
midline. Yeah,
Yeah,
just follow
just
the
following
market.
the market. But I just think it's interesting to be able to sit there and say, it's just a quick little, I was looking at that. I'm going, oh, look, it's giving me a nice little.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up I'm trying to show you something cool that will, I don't know, it might change your view on the market. So,
hey, man, one thing I've learned is never stay stagnant in your view. Always keep an eye always open and an eye closed, because sometimes your view is right.
well, this is to show you the just how the market acts long term over time. So when
it's up.
No, I don't mean up or down. I just mean relative to day, the movement that it has. Where does most of the move happen? So when you apply, I need to hold on one second. So I'm just going to pull like the last 5 years. Well, you can keep doing your thing. I'm just going to do this in the background.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, always open to hear people's views and thoughts, man. I mean, one thing I'll never do is shut somebody down when they're thinking and talking. Let's go ahead and go into real quick. We've already done the ES and NQ. Let's jump into Bitcoin here real quick. Now, Bitcoin is a really unique thing just simply because, what is the ATR for Bitcoin? And did you send me that information where I could find all that?
Yeah, I think
crypto?
I sent you the script.
I'm gonna have to pull that up. I'm gonna have to place that in and see how to gauge it. Yeah, we've been talking back and forth. Is it the one that is the script deviation short tiles percentage 6? No, this was the new.
ATR ratio is this one right here. So let me.
Just hit it again, or just resend it. We don't. But here we are. And this gives me the deviation period, right? But not necessarily So
That's
if I
the
want,
ATR ratio, so that'll measure the strength of the current whatever's currently happening.
right, but it doesn't give me current. So let's say if I want to look at, let's say Algorand, right? It's not going to give me Algorand. It states, so if I need to find the IV in regards to Algorand, where do I go and find that? So I can change the actual IV into a correct percentage.
Oh, well, that script that I just forwarded to you, that's the ATR ratio. If you want to check implied volatility of any stock or future, that should have that information. You can Google it. There should be like bar chart or CBOE, or I think like even if you have Thinkorswim mobile app, you can get implied volatility right on the app.
For a lot of the cryptos?
Oh, no, not for cryptos.
That's what I'm
Sorry.
saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking for. I mean, traditional markets is different, right? That's been around forever.
Yeah.
But I'm looking more or less for crypto markets, right? To be able to play off of that and see what's going on with it.
Oh, they'd have to be optionable because that's where the implied volatility is derived from.
So then I would have to then more or less go to.
So basically, big cryptos, ones with futures.
All right, yeah. Then I'm gonna have to go through and look at what platforms are they? Future. I'll play with that down the road, but I just want to finish up here the show here real quick, and then have you talk about what you're about to bring up. So Bitcoin, as we can see here, guys, is moving kind of in a sideways pattern for the day here. Let's go and bring it up here, kind of up and down. It's not really picking a real direction as we see here, just kind of up and down until the major market news comes out for today and tomorrow. Again, if we do see a type of rally into the evening and into the morning, be ready for a sell-off, most likely into the news coming out for tomorrow and today. Okay, right now we're still kind of sitting here. We did see a rally into this evening, so to me, I am more bearish on the news at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So that's just my view here, and I look for your personal indicator for a higher time frame push up than to a push down. Right? Typically, they're going to try to stop everybody else out. So this is the other thing I'm really looking forward to see the major movements here for you, for your indicator here, to see if it correlates with some of the other areas that I'm looking for. In addition to that, let's go to ETH. ETH here is sitting more or less, again, at an equal, if I can say it right, a sideways pattern here. And into the evening, we did see it drop and really rally up high. So I really do see us again going up first, then dropping into lower levels that we've been looking at. BNB, guys, looks the same thing. So be ready for this for BNB. And I'm pretty sure if we go through all the top 10 here, it's all going to look the same. I do want to bring up one. Here it is. We already went over it. NQ. Yeah, I want to bring up Mana here just simply because if we do see some major news come into the markets, not Mana, excuse me, Monero. Monero. If we do see major news coming into the markets for stable coins and also coins that go out and basically kind of hide your transactions, with the new laws that are happening in the U.S., I do see them really kind of focusing on something like Monero. So if we do see a sell-off here, because I don't think Monero is going away, especially into the markets, right? It's just not. Be ready for these lower levels that I've talked about. Shoot, that's one thing I don't like, is that when I have this going on some of these, it actually takes away my lines, which sucks. So, but I brought up that the real pricing that I'm really looking at here is really down in these, $80 marks that I was really looking at, down into the 80, and if not the 40 area as well that I brought up last time. So be mindful of that, guys. Be ready if they do bring that up. I want to make sure that you guys are who are looking to get into Monero, to be looking at those levels for sell-offs. All right, my friend, speak your truth. Talk to me, Goose.
Oh, I'm still trying to. I'm coding this Excel sheet by scratch to make it
a point.
show make it show a normal distribution. But might not be done in time. We can just get it another day.
No, it's all right. We can go. I have one. Well, we don't. You're right. We can do another day. One of the things I also want, I really like a lot is Uniswap, just because it primarily focuses on, well, the decentralization of buying and selling, and I feel like it's just a great company. I like what they're doing. If you know anybody who knows the devs on Uniswap, would love for them to come on, talk about their project, and really just kind of see what their plans are for the future. Again, I do see these lower levels here on Uniswap, unfortunately, just simply because it's how I'm looking at the markets here. Also, we have another, wow, it is not showing my lines. Also, the other areas that I'm also definitely bullish on for my buys are the $3 mark here. So this is the $3 mark here. So be ready for those little positions, guys, as we keep falling here. Don't, a lot of times people will just, as they see larger falls, it's just going to keep coming down until we come into our major support level here, guys. So be ready for that. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell as we hit the 2-hour mark. You got it there, my friend, or not? Are you?
Yeah, I just got it done.
Here, let me give you right. So if you go into the StreamYard thing, you can see where it says share screen. You can actually share your screen just by hitting that.
Let's see.
And I'll stop sharing myself.
Oh, there it is. Share screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
So it should populate here in just a second. I had to stream. There we go. All right, there we are.
All right. So what I did here, let me just hold on, pull this up to the top. Cut this and just go up to the top, post it in. All right, so what this is here's a chart. This is just the S&P 500 for 5 years. And what we're doing is I just created a quick script that basically just pulls the open minus the close price of every day. That's what this price column is. So that's what all these values are over here in column A. That's just the change for the day, right? Versus where it opened versus where it closed. So on this day, it was -3.5 points, right? And so forth all the way down. Then you get the average. So in order to form a bell curve, you got to get the average. So what's the average of all these closes, these net change for the day? What's the average? Then what's the standard deviation? And then what's the normal distribution of each day? So the normal distribution you'll get by taking the
What does distribution mean for our listeners so they actually understand that?
Yeah, so when you're forming a bell curve, you want to get a couple of different aspects. Normal distribution is just the continuous probability distribution where that move has happened. So when you're looking at how much has it gone up relative, how much has it changed relative to its total sample size, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to describe it other than that.
I don't know that, but all right, sounds good.
Yeah, so how much it's changed relative to the full sample size.
So sample size meaning the full buying or selling of the market in orders, or the full move of the market from its low to its high?
Well, it's factoring in it's factoring in the mean. So when we say sample size, we're taking that whole 5 years. We're just looking at 5 years of price data. Okay. And then we want the average price. So what's the average of all that? And then we want the standard deviation. So what's the plus or minus standard deviation of all that data, which is, as you can see, the average move from day to day. The average move is 1.45 points. The standard deviation, what's the highest and lowest out plus or minus of one standard deviation, which is 68% probability. It's 41 points. Then the normal distribution is we take that entire sample size relevant to the average and the standard deviation, and we get the normal distribution, which shows that data against the mean of how much it's moved relative to the mean. So what this will show us is this big, you just take this data, this column A and column B, and you throw it into a just, bell curve, or not even a bell curve chart, whatever this chart is called. It's just called like a curve chart. It just plots data points. What this is telling us though is here is no move. So like this is 0 is just if there was no trading that day, right? No move at all. But what this is showing us is that the bulk of the market moves closer to the mean. So like all these individual data points, every one of these blue bubbles, there's 5 years worth of blue bubbles per day. So 5 times 365, that's how many bubbles there are, blue dots. And you can see the bulk of it has happened closer to no move, right? Like you get these big giant events where the market has moved 20, 30, 40, 100 points in a day. Right here was negative 200 points, right? So whatever date this was, the market moved negative 187 points. But what happens on a day-to-day basis? You get these small moves, these negative 9 plus or minus 9 point moves. The bulk of the market moves closer to the mean. The big giant moves are very few and far between. What happens on a daily basis is almost neutral, right? Like plus or minus, for the most part, plus or minus about 20 is where the bulk of the market moves. And this is just specific to, what was this? ES, so S&P 500. This is just specific to the S&P 500. But every stock, every futures, every index that you pull data on will look exactly like this. The bulk of the market moves very small. So your trading strategy, if you want to use a specific trading strategy, you need to find one that is not looking for big moves, big, extravagant moves like knife catches, or trying after a big long giant pop trying to short it, or after a big long drop trying to go long. Those type of moves are few and far between.
Great.
Because on average, the market hardly moves, as this data shows you. So it's something that when you're looking for specific trading strategies, to find one that can be efficient in neutral markets that don't require large moves. It's just interesting to see this kind of data, because like people see a chart like this, right? They'll see something. Oh, wrong chart.
So I bring this up because I've actually stated this a couple times. Now I see what you're saying. So the market,
people see a chart like this that just rips, right? It just rips for, as far as that'll go. But
let's talk about the daily moves though. And this is so important. What you're saying
exactly
is the daily move typically. So, and I brought this up here in the show. 40% of the time the market is either going up or down hard. 60% of the time the market is going sideways. So it's important to understand that, because you have this side where, like you said, like the bulk of the move is a smaller, or it's a direct, it is a sideways movement. It's a plus 1 or minus, or plus or minus 1% of the daily over, or the overall move is plus or minus the percentage, or percentage wise it is 1% up or 1% down. Typically it's the daily move of the market, right? Is what we see. So in that same sense, your trading strategy that you're looking to do needs to be able to gauge a sideways market. But if, like, let's look at your strategy, right? Because your strategy actually uses the inefficiencies of the market to be able to, garner a wage for yourself on a daily basis. So in that same sense, the majority of your move.
There you go, right there. So those orange vertical lines, that's right. Looking at the standard deviation 41. So what happens one standard deviation of the time, which is 68%. So 68% of the time over the 68% of the time over the last 5 years, the market has stayed in between these two orange bands, which is plus or minus 40 points for the day. So if your strategy is trying to catch 50-point moves, right?
No,
You're
my strategy is
I just
to
mean in
capture
general.
the trend. Okay,
People,
measure it,
like
understanding the daily trend.
Yeah, if people's strategy is to try to say, "Oh, I want to capture 50 points in one
It's not
day,"
gonna happen.
you have to understand that that doesn't happen often. So you want to try to base your strategy on what happens often, which data says in the S&P 500, 68% of the time the market only goes up or down 40 points.
Well, and I want to add this in so you know, right? Because we both been trading for the last 12, 13 years. And I remember the days where 10 points, right? Literally 10 points were the normal, right? Who's Tweel? Hey, Tweel. Hi, is Tweel your friend, my friend?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Maybe
somebody here is. I don't know who it is, but they're.
we can be friends.
Yeah. I need, if you are one of my guys that I am having come in, let me know. Hit me up privately on Discord. Maybe it's one of your friends who are coming in that we've invited in. His device is not able to come in, so they will need to connect their microphone before you can add them to the stream. So guys, Tweel, if you're there, buddy, you need to activate your microphone to StreamYard so you know. All right, buddy, just giving you a heads up. But I want to bring this up because this is I want to bring this. I remember the days. I'm from Mind Investors. Hi, I see you, buddy. All right, nice. Nice. Can listen, not speak. Oh, that stinks. Okay, I get it. Fair enough. Well, listen, man, I would love for you to come in maybe in a day or two and just talk about your game and what we have, because I think it's I love your calling and what you guys are doing. I think it's phenomenal, and I think it's gonna be able to do a lot of good things for a lot of people. So love for your community and your guys to come check us out as well. So let's plan a time, my friend. No founder though. He. Fair enough. Well, either way, to come in and just talk about it, let people know kind of like what you guys are doing and some of the good things that you guys are doing as well. But I want to bring this up because if you here, go ahead and take over again, because I want you to keep showing that. Because even if we, sorry, my friend, the wife and kid, okay, surprise me for lunch, awesome. With that, you said the 40 points, but that's only been the last, honestly, this last 5 years have been not indicative of the movement. So let's say we have a major sell-off in the S&P 500, right? The reason why I bring this up is 40, because we've been in the range of 3,000 to 4,000 for a while, for almost for 5 years, right? Of this market move. So I bring that up because within those last 5 years, the market moves, I think it's 1 or 1.5% of what the value is of the market. So if the market's at, let's say if the market gets to 10,000, well, we're going to see the majority of the move at, if the S&P ever got up to 10,000, we would see 1% of the move point wise. So that'd be 100 to 150 points, typically positive or negative of the market, because it typically moves 1.1 to 1.5%. Now, obviously, we have outlier days, but so I agree with your perspective. And so when you're looking to trade, right? If the market, let's say I personally think that we're coming back down all the way down to 1,600. I personally think that S&P 500 is going to go. And so 1% of that, right, is 16, I believe. Yeah, it's 16 points of movement. I remember when the market was all the way down here at 1,000, and forever, we're talking 10, 15 points of movement trading back in 2011 and 2012. So I remember that. Why isn't you? Can you speak? You should be able to speak, my friend.
Yeah, I can
Chris.
speak.
Oh, okay, cool. So and I'll show this here. I'll bring yours up, and I also want to, and then I'll bring in here we go. Let me go ahead and share this here real quick so we can sit there and see. So back here, and then I'll bring yours up in a second. Back here, if we did it for 10 years, right, or 11 years, that 40% market move would be different. It would be drastically different. It would probably be more like maybe legitly 20, 15, 20, because for the
I'll pull
longest
the
of
data
time,
on it right now.
yeah, it'd be drastically different because we see it, because the market movement was, for the majority of that time period, was between 20 and 30, or 20, 2200 and 600, right? Like for the lows app. So we're gonna see that. But the biggest thing is catching a strategy that just is able to, like, capture not necessarily just the big moves, but the day-to-day moves of the market inefficiencies, right? Like your program captures, 3-4 points, the market inefficiencies. And that's really all anybody's really looking to do, right? It's capturing those small inefficiencies and letting your single plays and your double plays catch, right? That's when I was bringing up the idea of your win to loss ratio versus your risk to reward ratio has to be really tight with what you're doing. But I like it because it is tight. It's tight and it's strong. So it's just definitely a difference there. Yeah, pull up that data, man. I'd love for it to come up. And I'll bring this up here real quick for you. Oh, you took it down. Yeah, run it, man, because I'm pretty sure, because it's all based off of market movement, percentage of it, right? And typically the market runs between, excuse me, typically between 1 to 2% of its movement. It's really, I forget the exact movement. We can actually look it up right now. What is the average movement of the market over the last 20 years? We can't even do that. What is the average? We all know, guys, those who listen to me, I'm not the best speller, so nor am I a grammar guy. All right, I barely graduated high school and college. I just they all knew I was smart, but they were like, writing is not your skill set. So Sam Pierstoff, who is my English professor, who is now, I would love to have Sam Pierstoff on if anybody ever knows him fully, on as a slam poet. He's a good guy. Anyways, long story short, he would be disappointed in me. What is the average percentage movement over the last 10 years of or we'll just say futures. There we go. S and P futures. We'll see if S&P average return. No, average daily percentage move of the stock market. There we go. Volatility. Boom. When was this? Good. It was recent. The average daily percentage of the stock market increased over time. The reason for this increase in volatility is mainly due to technology and the speed of which information moves and trades are executed. But it also depends on the actual movement as it increases in value, right? If the increase of the value movement moves, right, you're going to see it increase in the percentage, or excuse me, the increase in the point movement, but your percentage is going to pretty much stay the same, right, as we look at it. So today is it's much more common to have a flash crash where stocks hit an air pocket and take a dive. You should expect a 5%. Yeah, a plus 5% correlation multiple times a year. I would agree.
I think I got it shared now. I just added in. This is 20 years of data.
Okay, perfect.
So it's 5,050 data points roughly. So
right,
5,050 blue dots. And the bulk of those blue dots are plus or minus 24 points.
There you go. Yeah, because remember what I said, the majority of the move played around like at that 2,000 mark here, a majority, right? Like, look, here, the last 20 years we played, there was a lot of buying and selling right up in here. A lot of buying and selling here. Where is this at? This is at the 3,000 mark, 2,000 mark, right? And this is back in 2008, right?
Yep.
This is the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the majority of the move has been played right here. And give me 1 second. That makes complete sense, right? Because from a percentage level, this is where the bulk of the real trading has happened, right? And then obviously we have the outliers, but I mean, we're talking, what is that, 2002. So that's why it's going to fluctuate. So as the market keeps going higher and higher and higher, right? Because we know that we're net positive in the market, right? The market is net positive. So as it keeps moving higher, we're going to see then a market that continues. Come on. All right, boom. So let's see if the market goes. So if the market goes to like I said, 10,000, which it may go, like, in 10 years. I wish when somebody told me we were at 6,000 and I was still fairly new to the market, or excuse me, not 6,000, 600. And somebody said to me, and this was about almost 10 years ago, I said, the market will be at about 3,000 to 4,000 in about 10 years. I looked at him, I said, you're nuts. There's no way. I was like, dude, that would be crazy. He goes, no, it will. And it will continually go up ultimately. Whether, like, here, throw that same statistic on the Nifty, right? Or you throw it on other indexes, and you'll see it's plus or minus 1 to 1.5% of the move on a daily basis.
Yeah. So when you apply that, we
Right.
know that this is the data for the S&P 500.
Yep.
On average, over the last 20 years, the bulk of the move has stayed between one standard deviation, which is 68% of the time. That value has been 24 plus or minus 24 points for the day.
Right.
So over the last 20 years, day to day, 68% of the time, the market only goes plus or minus 24 points. Now, when you apply that one standard deviation plus or minus, that's the fourth green line.
Right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, because each one of these is a quarter deviation. So this would be, that one standard deviation, and then this bottom red line would be that one standard deviation. So I know mathematically that 68% of the time the market stays within this zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that if I'm coming down to that zone, that once I hit that fourth line, I have a 68% chance that it rejects. Or once I go up to hit that fourth green line, I have a 68% chance that it rejects, just based off of math. And each green line has its own probability. So like a 0.25 deviation is somewhere around like 20%. A 2 standard deviation is 95%. So if you hit all the way out to the 8th line,
those are those flash crashes.
Yeah, those are those.
Yeah,
those are
those are the ones that we
these
saw.
ones.
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are
yeah.
these
Yep,
ones.
yep.
Yeah, those are those like black swan events to where if you're all the way out here hitting that fourth line, you have a 95% chance that it rejects.
When did Donald Trump get elected? Remember the flash crash of the first time when they thought that Hillary Clinton was going to get in? And so, does anybody remember what day that was? If you're listening, do you remember that flash crash?
I do. I don't remember when it was, but I mean, there's yesterday. Yesterday, you can usually compare yesterday to the same day because the volatility is kind of the same. Usually, it doesn't differ that far in between days. Like if you go to last week, the volatility would be a lot different. But so like here, you had this rejection on the fourth red line. It went back up because there was a 68% chance that it rejects, just math wise. Over here, it broke through.
80, right? It's about 80%.
So yeah, over here it broke through and went to the next one, the fifth one. Now the probability of it rejecting this one is higher. So whatever point
that was
1.25 deviation equals to in probability math, that's your probability of it not breaking that one.
And just also, how much of a probability was that?
Well, here's a Z-score chart. So if you ever want to, you can go to measuringu.com and then go to Z-score percentile. So if we want to know what is the probability of, where'd my charts go? What is the probability of it breaking that particular zone, right? So let me see here. Pull that chart back up. Where's the S&P 500? I just added up.
But yeah,
there it
also
is.
go to your daily chart there. Can you pull up a daily chart?
I got like 7.
Oh, dang it. Hello? Hello? Ah, it looks like we lost him. We just lost him. Maybe his computer went out. We just lost. Oh, that's weird. So I bring this up just simply, it's real. The reason why I was bringing up the daily chart is simply because we can sit there and see if you correlate his stuff with daily demand zones and supply zones and playing off of the market. It's definitely you're able to play off a good play here. So we definitely see these working math-wise in conjunction with what we're talking about. You know, it's there he is. There we go.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what happened?
Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
even worry about it. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My stuff just, I guess I might have exited out the wrong window or something, but
Okay.
um,
Pull up your stuff again. Because the
Yep.
reason why I'm saying that is, sorry, I didn't mean to tell you what to do. That's not what I meant to do.
oh, you're good.
But you can sit there and see that if you play off of some of the zones here that we play, right? And
Should
you're
be
looking
sharing.
on the daily moves. Oh, I'm not sharing. You're right. Give me a second. All right. If you pull off some of the zones and you correlate that with what we're doing, you're going to see that there's a lot of correlation with a lot of these zones, especially with your 68% and higher moves.
Yeah,
Right?
so like this fourth one down, it rejected. It tested it again, it went through. But that next one is the negative 1.25. So we
Yes.
know that the fourth one has a 68% probability of rejecting. Well, what's the fifth one? You can come over to a z-score calculator, just type in 1.25, make it two-sided, because that's the two-sided zone you're looking for, and that's 78%. So you have a 78% probability
Standard
that,
deviation.
yeah, there's 78% probability that this line will hold and not break.
I agree. And I want to bring this up because that was partially the low into an area that you could have traded off that we did bring up, right? And so this is some of the things that, but honestly, I'm looking to go short because we're in a downtrend, right? So if I'm looking, your supply zones, I'm gonna call them supply zones. I know you don't want to hear that, but or your negative deviation lines are going to work more than your positive deviation lines. And I know that you play. I know that you play versus rejection and non-rejected, right? So if you're below your mean, you're looking to go long, and if you're above your mean, you're looking to go short. So you're capturing smaller portions of the market, which is you're capturing the inefficiency of the market, right? Based off of math.
Yeah.
And yes, you have a math equation to it, and I don't. And listen, I like it. I'm not saying that I don't. But I'm also gauging the fullness of it, right? The fullness in relation to other traders and other market participants. And in relationship to what you have, you could capitalize on, if you're in a downtrend for the day, look to short versus to go long because we're downtrending. And then when you reach those higher time frame, when you reach the higher time frame movements, in relationship, whether it's a SMA, whether it's whatever it is, we can definitely gauge. And like right here, that yesterday's low hit smaller time or hit mid-time SMAs and acted as a resistance. Acted as support. Because I think what happens is other quant funds know that, so they play both ends. Like today, like we hit the lower end right here, right? Where you were waiting for it to shoot down and then push up. Well, other quant funds know that this is a resistant level, so they're looking to actually play off of that, right? So, it's been able to play not just one-sided, but multiple sided, and understanding that full scope of what's actually going on. The bell curve of that 1% move is really what is totaling, right? That's totaling the major movement of the market percentage-wise, which what basically gives you like the movement of that day, most likely the movement of that day over the last 20 years. Like I said, if you did it over the last 10 years, it would be roughly around like I said, that 20,000 15,000 mark, because the majority of the trading was done at that levels. So I love what you're doing. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think we can definitely have more fun with it and be able to play, like going short on these levels when it comes up, when it shows no wick, when it shows a bunch of other stuff that's going on with it. All of a sudden, you're able to play more and fully understand what you've got in your pocket. Like, you've created something beautiful. Just saying.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's
love
just it's math based. You can't go
Yes,
wrong. It's
I
just
love
like it's math, right? So like my
Yes.
opinion has no play in it.
No play.
And it's just very easy to see like when it takes a trade, why it took that trade. I mean, just
Well,
for example, right? Like let's pick one that just not selecting one, but just an obvious like move, right? Like
yesterday's
here,
high.
right here. Well, yeah, okay,
or-
yesterday.
Yeah, like remember right there,
Yesterday's
yesterday.
high right
Yeah.
here. So yesterday's high, it went up to that 0.25
Yeah,
deviation.
I'm actually
it
people having a hard time.
rejected.
Let me actually bring this up here real quick because people are having a hard time with that. How do I make that full screen? There you are. Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
So yesterday's high up here, we hit that 0.25 deviation. Now, probability wise, you have a 19% chance that it breaks, right? So you have an 80% chance that it doesn't. 80% chance that green line holds. Just math, speaking from math.
Yep.
Now, how do you know if it's going to break or not? Well, that's how you factor in how strong is the move coming up to that point or down to that point. That's where there's other tools you can use. I just use ATR ratio. I take a 7-period ATR and divide it by a 21 period, and I get a ratio. So if the ratio is strong, then I know the move is strong. If the ratio is weak, closer to 1, neutral, then I know the move is weak. So when I'm looking at, okay, is this going to break? Let me check my ATR. My ATR is relatively close to neutral. So I know that this is probably not going to break, even though there is an 80% chance that it will break math-wise. The move is weak. So if the move is weak, it's probably not going to break. Now, when you look at a place where it did just bust through, what was the ATR at that point in time? For example, that's the midpoint. Where's one that just the ATR was like really high? All right, right here.
Right. Yeah.
That's the midpoint again. You don't play off the midpoint, so you play off the deviations. Here's one. So here's one where we broke through the deviation and the ATR was relatively high. So it was relatively high. Gray is neutral. You got, hitting that first dark green line, which is kind of getting high. The light green line is high, right? It's 1.5. The dark green ones is 0.75 and 1.25. The dark greens is 0.5 and 1.5. So when you're hitting those light green lines, all that's telling you is that whatever the move is, it's a strong move. It's moving big and fast. So if you're coming up to a deviation with a big and fast move, it's probably going to break, which it did. It broke through that deviation because the move was big. Now, if the move was neutral, so when we're close to gray, right, the move is neutral. It's just a weak move. You can see that even when it comes up to the midline, or even when it comes up to the upper deviation band, if the move is weak, if it's neutral, it's not going to break through. It's going to do a little bit of up down zigzag, but it's not going to do anything. So where we are currently in the market, we're on that first deviation. We're neutral in strength. So it's, not something that I would play off of. Other systems might go long, might go short, whatever they're doing. My system is not making a trade right now.
So I hear you. I totally hear you. We have Ed here as well, so I'm gonna bring on Ed as well, and we can jib and jab it with him as well. What's up, Ed? How you doing, brother?
Oh, what's up? Ed from Mind Token.
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
You guys-
Hey, would you do me a favor and put Ed from Mind Token real quick, my friend, if you will? Yeah, I want you to put that in just simply. Ed, if you could put Ed from Mind Token as well, because I want people to be able to find you as well.
Oh, okay. I'm new to this space, so I'm playing
Oh,
with the settings here.
It's
I'm a little
okay.
lost.
Okay. I was too. When I first, I was like, what is this? But I'm a tinkerer. I'm a total tinkerer. So for me, I'm like, oh, now I'm more toys, right? So
How are you guys doing?
doing well, man. Doing well. We just be on here live, just having a good time. Tell your
Right.
community that you're on if you don't mind.
Yeah, you betcha.
And then also like, subscribe, share if you don't mind. You don't have to, but trying to build it up.
Yeah, for sure.
But one of the things that I do, I love what you're doing. And before we jump in real quick, I want to finish off with Chris, what you're saying. Like, I agree with the math. I'm not disagreeing with the math, right? I think what's interesting is, let's say that the market is up, right? And it's moving up. Obviously, I'm going along when the market is moving up. And additionally to that, though, but if I'm coming up to an area where I personally have, let's say, a SMA at that level, follow me? And then I also know that the institutions are looking at this level saying there's an 80% chance of this falling from this level. All that's done to me is saying, okay, it is correlated with an area of a zone, plus inside that zone, I have mathematically correct. The issue, right, that I don't like about it is it's looking to go long in a downtrend so that you can't get the extra move up, because you're basically fighting the
It's contrarian for sure.
yeah, it's contrarian. So I don't like the contrarian view. Whereas, listen, if we're coming up into an area where it says it wants to short, why not get that extra push where you could get 15, 20 points or whatever the ATR is for that move of the day? That's all I'm saying is we can, like if you got Mike Tyson in your corner, right, to tag in, right, and you're wrestling, you're not using him correctly. You want Mike Tyson in your corner as a boxer, right? And so I see the analogy and I love it. I'm just saying, let's tinker with it.
Yeah, right, man.
Sorry. All right, let me be quiet. So talk to me, Ed. So I love your token, man. I've been looking at it for a while, and I do have some Mind Token myself. So
awesome.
I think what you guys are doing. I would love for you to even go on, just maybe your vision, your thought of what you're trying to do and what you're looking to do, because that's off the chain.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate Chris dragging me in in here for this impromptu AMA. I guess I was in the middle.
It's not even an AMA.
I know.
This is a bunch of guys BSing and having a good time. Real quick, Earth-Fi, is he friends?
Yeah, he's friends.
All right, excellent. Come on in here, Earth-Fi. It's good to see you.
How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, no, I was actually just out on my driveway putting a roof on an RV, and I come inside to check my TG real quick. So I'm sitting here covered in adhesive, and I'm wearing my best daddy shirt. So I am on my A game, gentlemen.
A game. I love it. And if kids come in, man, I'm a kid friendly show, man. I love kids. I love hearing like if kid is crying in the back, don't feel as if you need a shot, quiet him down.
My kids are at school, but I've got my Spider-Man posters up here, so my immaturity level is at an all-time high. So what we did is we created our corporation, Mental Services Inc., and we reached out to LifeWorks, which is the world's largest e-health provider. They're publicly traded. They have a $700 million yearly revenue. They're currently under potential acquisition from the telecom company TELUS, who's moving heavily into the e-health space here in Canada. They've already started a little bit on the West Coast, and they're slowly moving east. And so what we did is we created our corporation, and we reached out to LifeWorks, and we found a way that we could bring their EAP services to the crypto space and even into the regular retail space. The only real caveat that we have to work with is that LifeWorks works specifically with corporations, and so they have 15,000 corporations who have their employees under their EAP or pension services. And these are big companies. We're talking about Disney and Reebok and I mean, it's Sobeys, it's massive. And so the caveat is that we don't actually sell their product. We attach it to utilities, and so we're able to attach the utility to a NFT that's readable on Web3, and that you're able to renew a subscription. We're able to attach it to staking protocols. We can attach it to just about anything that you can come up with that doesn't directly sell the product, but includes it as part of our utilities. And so essentially, as far as our contract with LifeWorks is concerned, and it's a renewing contract, which means that even if they are acquired by TELUS, they have to honor that contract, which is a big deal. And so basically what it amounts to is that we have kind of free reign to hit the market as long as we're not directly selling the product. And so it's a really nice niche for us. And so we have plans in the future for IPOs for our corporation, and to create a auto staking app so that people can come in with fiat, and it'll auto stake their mine token for them, and for partner projects down the line. And so your end user doesn't have to know anything about crypto. It's all done through a third party. They put in their fiat, it's staked, and when they remove that fiat, it sells it off and gives them their pay, whether they're up or down. Has to do with the market value. But at the end of the day, when you look at the cost of private e-health services, it's massive. I mean, to talk to a doctor for an hour in the US is $200. Talk to a therapist in the UK through a private service is over 300 British pounds for 4 1-hour blocks. Whereas with us, you can stake a $50 market value in tokens. Right now we have that set at 5,000 tokens in the 1-month pool, and you get doctors, lawyers, therapists. I mean, there are workshops and groups, and I mean, it's just on and on and on. So yeah, we're really, really, and the one real thing for us is that, our floor has held really well. I mean, we did have a pre-sale. The majority of our holders are staked up in the 12-month pool. They're here for the long run. And I mean, we're, for a pre-sale in this market to only be sitting 11% under listing price right now. I mean, we're killing it as far as
phenomenal. Yes.
Yeah, so
well, and I think your utility is absolutely hands down. I mean, in the BSC world, right? It's okay. We can give you XYZ, right, for your staking, right, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, your utilities, we can give you percentage where you're going to get this, but also with us, you get X amount of services that are real services that you can actually use. So how did you link up with them? Because I actually have a friend of mine right now who is, I'm actually thinking about linking you up with him, because he's actually connecting with a major crew. And I've been telling him he needs to get into the crypto market and be able to set things up correctly. And you're literally in the market that he's trying to get into and connect with. So it's what made you decide to set this up? Was this a secondary thought? And then in addition, so that's 2 questions. And the last question, I'm sorry about it, is what made you decide to run with this, and what benefits do the other companies get outside of this? Besides getting more views and people to check out their business, right? What are they getting? Are they getting tokens too? And what are their...
When you say other companies, are you referring to LifeWorks and their subsidiaries, or are you referring to other? Okay,
both.
So
I mean, and other people that are using
and other people. So Stefan, I'll do the second part of the question. I'm going to leave you with the first part because you're best at answering that. The second part of the question: what do companies get? Okay, so when we reached out to LifeWorks, that was mid bull run. And at the time, you had all these companies, big company. You had the Michael Saylors and the Elon Musk, and you had Reebok going into NFTs and all this sort of stuff. And so, of course, these big corporations are looking at crypto and how do we get involved? And we just happened to come along at the right time. So as far as I can tell, we're kind of a trial run for LifeWorks in crypto. That's one of the reasons we had the corporation before we even reached out to them, so they would take us really, really seriously. And they also would know that if we were a massive success, they could buy a big chunk of us, right? And so
that's another one. Hey, here's the floor. If we get to $20, that's really good for you.
That's right. And so, I feel like, we're kind of a trial run because we remove them from any potential liabilities, and they can play in the crypto space. In fact, we were really, really quiet. We didn't, we're not wealthy guys. We didn't want to be front run by somebody with bigger pockets. And so we made our corporation, we made the agreements. We had this all buttoned up before we even opened a Telegram. In fact, I opened a Twitter. Twitter account for it. I put 2 little eyeballs, and that's all that was on our Twitter for like 2 solid months. And I had 3 different subsidiary companies follow me in that time. So they talk about us. Their eyes are on us. And then, so as far as what other projects get from us, one, they get, networking potentials. I mean, we're working now a little bit with EarthFi here, who's doing an awesome project. They're doing a similar thing as us, where they are bringing something from the real world into the crypto space.
Oh,
and
one last thing.
That's huge.
Okay, pause for a second. If you guys will, with your communities, let them know, because I am trying to build up the my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get it going. Have them like, subscribe, post me in for the YouTube one. And I don't know if you know where it is. And I apologize for this shamelessness. But if you guys could send that out to them and let them know, to have them jump on. And if we can get them literally to post this on their social media as well as other places, we might potentially get this thing to get viral. So who knows? But so let's go ahead and put that in. And go ahead, keep going, my brother. I apologize.
All good. The adhesive isn't even dry, so I'm on the fly. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. So as to the question as to what other projects get from us, again, we get the networking potentials, right? I mean, we got EarthFi in here. We can work together with each other. We've recently brought on Skeptic Token, who's getting an LP pool with us, and one of the agreements is going to be that new projects who join our staking systems will get a free vetting by Skeptic Token, which is a huge asset to a project who's trying to prove their legitimacy out, because Chris is a big brain. I've said that before. And so that's really super positive. But again, the networking potentials, we also have potentials with call groups and AMA groups through what we've dubbed non-token NFTs, where we're able to, as I mentioned before, connect the utility to NFTs and Web3. So we can do collaborative works with groups like Ninja Lounge is probably going to be our first. And what we'll do is we'll pull an artist out of their community. We'll do some collaborative artwork with it. We'll create some NFTs. It'll generate some revenue for Mine Token. It'll generate some revenue for Ninja Token, and we'll bring the utility to the public in a speculative market. Be a lot of fun. And so we've also got again, they get the staking system, they get the LifeWorks utility, they get the networking cross potentials, they have the potentials to be vetted. And as we grow, of course, all of these things that come with it will grow as well. And so the one thing about our project that, the way we've set it up is that we intend to get paid from long-term high volume. So we're incentivized to work. And we want to include other projects. We don't want to be out there, like we're the best and we don't need anybody. That's not who we are. We want to collaborate. We want to work with people. And we want to, all the best laid plans, all it takes is one project to come along and say, hey, have you thought about this? We offer this. And all of a sudden the scope increases again, so that's kind of where we're at. And then as to how we started, what inspired us to do that, that's a Stefan story. He's good at that one.
It was basically inspired because I was using their services. I work for a global fish farming company, and they offer the AAP to me for free through work. So when I was leaving my ex, I went through their counseling services and talked to one of the lawyers they connected me to kind of decide my plans going forward. And it was at that exact time that Ed was showing me into crypto, and I saw it as something that wasn't in the space that was needed, because there was a lot of rug pulls happening. There was a lot of upset people, a lot of people that definitely could use some kind of therapy, and it wasn't there. So I brought it up to him, and he kind of threw some side balls at me to go run and catch, and I caught them. And the idea behind it is amazing. Right? We're out there doing good things, and the growth of our corporation and the token is happening faster than I even thought.
Yeah, same. And I kind of shrugged him off a little bit, because I live in a small town and I've been in crypto a long time, and every time the market pumps, I get 3,000 DMs from people who are like, should I buy the top? And it's
right,
and
right.
I tell them,
yes,
if I'm happy, guys, don't buy anything. If I'm miserable, buy.
I'm stealing that. I'm gonna steal that. I love that. You know, that's true. That is true.
And so, you know,
Except that you're miserable about rug pulls a lot. So people
yeah,
are
I got
like,
really
oh yeah, I'll buy into that. I'll buy into that. He's upset about, but it's already done.
But you know, so what the curveball I kind of threw at him to see if he was really genuine and was really going to be motivated to do a project of this scale, because I know how much work it is. You know, I've been in the space a long time. I said, look, we can't reach out to LifeWorks without a corporation. Stefan comes back 4 weeks later and is like, and I'm like, well, shit, bro, let's go. You know. So, and he's been absolutely just a hustler, and his learning abilities are off the chart. So, he's impressive. Yeah.
That would make a good team. And
I
and
can
and
tell.
there's more to come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually we have
you-
to jump off a call and have a meeting here today before I go to work.
My glue's drying. And then, yeah.
Listen, if you want to wipe it off, man, go wipe it off real quick, man. I don't want that. Or is
You
it
know,
easy?
you know what I want to do is I want to go put a cap on my bucket of glue outside so I don't lose $300, and then I'll come right back.
Run, do that real quick, and
All right.
we'll have Earth Fi talk about. We'll see you guys in a second.
I'll be right back. 1 minute.
Right on.
Yeah. Earth Fi, please step in, man. Talk to us about what you do, man. How you're being blessed and how you're hustling and things that you're maybe looking to even get going, my brother.
Okay, well, me, it's just me, and I've made a company called Earthfi, and we've just launched our first kids book on Amazon on Kindle, and then we've made NFTs which connect to all sales on Amazon. So if there's only 27 NFTs in total, and they all command a certain percentage. So whatever book sales or merch related to that book sells on Amazon, then they get a percentage of the profits. So it's all set up, all legit, and it went live yesterday, like the NFTs and the books. So I've just sent away for the Amazon ad campaigns, business Facebook, boosting posts. So better advertise real world, so we don't have to deal with like a lot of the normal crypto garbage. So we can actually just, and you won't have to, if it's a bear market, then as long as the book sells well, then that's always going to be continually bringing income into the project, which will be, some of it will go to NFTs, some of it goes to liquidity, buybacks, and all that kind of stuff. And we've got the normal stuff like staking, our own NFT store, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just generally, and then a partner with good projects like Mind and a few other like-minded people, and yeah, just building up from here, really.
No, it's been great getting to know you over the time. The Earthfi has started a great project. I've really grown to love what they're doing.
Awesome. And guys, I actually made a couple comments in the, if you go down to the private chat, which is going to be on your right-hand side, you'll see. If you connect it, you'll see I'm actually saying some stuff there. I also have the link in there. It's the second link that I posted, which is the current show that we're having right now. You guys just pull that up, and I'm going to bring back Ed on here real quick. And so if you guys want to go through and look at some of that stuff, so you can just, copy and post and put in your guys' community that people like, look and check us out. And as well as have it share on their social medias, right? If they can do that, that'd be even better. So that I can really kind of get our name out, or your guys' name out in particular, right? That we're looking to do. One of the things I want to bring up as well, Earthfi, with your project is, and I want to know how you're doing, because with all the, you're in Canada, correct? Or are you in the UK?
I'm UK.
Okay. So with the new EU law that was passed and everything like that, how are you guys juggling the legislation in regards to like ETFs and things like that? And I'm pretty sure you guys are very aware because you're dealing with a lot of corporations and a lot of money in conjunction with your guys' projects. How are you guys handling that stuff? Because I know with Moonrock, the coin that I'm a part of, we're always looking at, we're trying to see where America is at and how they're juxtaposing the laws with actual projects, right? And trying to make sure that we stay within the SEC, our SEC's connection, as well as all the other craziness that's going on. So I was just wondering what your guys is like, what you're planning on doing with that, and are you looking and paying attention?
Personally, no, I haven't really
Oh,
looked at that. I mean, I've got everything set up, whereas
that's
I'll
correct.
obviously pay VAT and tax on all book sales, and then anything that is paid out to NFT holders is paid in dividends straight to their wallets, and then same for me. If I paid anything out, it would just be in dividends as well. So as far
So
as I'm
you're
aware,
fully. So you from right off the jump, you just really made sure that that was taken care of. Then
yeah,
you
yeah.
weren't even playing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow. And then, so as you move forward with it, what other partnerships are you really looking to connect with and really try to help people out?
I mean, the first book is the first book of a series. There's probably going to be 5 or 6 books in this series, and then once we've grown and proven the concept, then we want to offer the service to other projects or charities, businesses, whatever, and say, look, we've got an author, publisher, we can publish you a book, make you the NFTs, and create everything like this. All we require is you help market the book and the NFTs, and then we just take a cut off the top of whatever it may be, and we could offer. They could say we want this as the idea for the book, and then we're quite good at me and the other author are pretty good at expanding on everything and turning it into a pretty good story. So,
And
and
hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm bouncing off. Take care, guys. Appreciate it. I got another
You
call.
too, Chris. Talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks.
Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you soon.
and then the
Go
other
ahead.
idea is like comic strips which used to be in like newspapers and that kind of thing, just like 1-page quick action comic strips. That's another route that I want to go down.
I like that. That's actually really fun because I mean, it'd be really cool to be able to say, even like the first Peanuts,
Yeah.
that just being able to sit there and even partner with them and say, listen, we can blow this up and make it go viral within, and like Board Ape Yacht Club NFTs will be like thing of the past. It'll be, Earth-Fi's NFTs, right? Especially with the connections you're having with a lot of the corporations, I could see that really taking root,
Yeah.
So it'd be great to be able to sit there and see that. That's awesome. And then Ed, anything else, my friend? Anything else, Earthfi?
No, I think that covers it.
I mean, we have a lot going on in the back end, and it's one of those things where I have to tell personal friends in private because I can't keep it in.
I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
All I can say is that we started off very quiet intentionally, and our strategy has been effective. We're in a great place to scale, and we've got lots of things coming that'll help us do that. The partnerships are starting to roll in nice, and we've got a couple groups now that are coming to the staking systems, and so we're just plugging away. We got lots of great art coming. I actually minted a bunch off 2 days ago, and I can't really share them just yet, but they're going to be listed in a really cool place. So keep an eye on us for that. That's going to be pretty special, I think. And Stefan's been doing some really cool kind of custom art mixed with AI, because obviously we recognize that being, this utility project, we also need some of that more memey stuff,
Yeah.
anthropomorphized animals and all the stuff that's hot in crypto, big eyes, big heads, small bodies. That's what,
That's what sells right now. That's what's selling right now.
that's what sells all the time. I mean, that's why modern
Yeah.
cartoons suck so bad, is because they spent too much time in study groups. But so we've got so much going on, and I'm just happy it's plugging along nice. I'm super impressed with our holders. Our MC is so scalable at this stage, and I'm just feeling good, man. I'm just happy.
I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I think some of the stuff that you guys have going on is definitely going to be a thing of the future. I know that there are major corporations that are looking to connect with stuff like this. They don't necessarily know how to. I mean, I know here in America, I have friends of mine who are in, the insurance industry or in the health industry, right? And they want to learn and they want to know how to incorporate a crypto right into their system. The problem is majority of the cryptos don't have LLCs, right? They don't have all these other sides to them that they need to be able to sit there and tell their holders, or not holders, tell their what's he talking? I'm in crypto. Tell their stockholders or tell their business partners, yeah, this company has an entity. They're right. So that really does set you guys apart than other people. So I'm definitely need to set you guys up and have you guys hook up with other companies that I do know about. And I'd love to see you guys just really explode. So I'm gonna do that after we get done.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah, we're ready for partnerships.
Yeah, partnerships are huge. That's what's really going to set you apart, right? The more partnerships, the better your organization is, and then the more people you have eyes on you. So it's really going to be interesting. Yeah, look, thank you for anything else you guys want to talk about besides? I mean, or if not, what you guys want to talk about? Because I know that the market is here. We're about to see a movement. They're talking about 2:00 here. So in America, we're about to have some major news pop off here. So,
well, I mean, I just kind of got thrown in here, so you got to tell me about your project now. Now I'm interviewing you.
Let's do it. Well, I love it. I love it.
I was in your ninja last night or the night before, watching you talk about the about different
charting.
Charting techniques.
Yeah. I've been in the industry. I've been a day trader for about 20 years. Profitable day trader for about 3 years now. Just give me a time. I'm a little knuckleheaded. All right. And but I started really. I found and I've actually had him on as my coach and as a guest here. A guy named Chris Koopman. He actually, if you want to find him, he doesn't look for students. Actually, he turns down 90% of the students out there that he just doesn't like because he doesn't need people's money. He just trades the inefficiencies of the market. And so I found him through another friend of mine, and I basically said, "Hey, would you be willing to, train me?" And he's like, "Well, I got to interview you to see if I like you." And so he basically we interviewed, we talked, we liked each other, and then he said, "Yeah, I'll bring you on as a student. I like you, and so you don't annoy me that much." So that's really what got me going. Really, really. I mean, I was up and down until I really found him, and then really kind of show me the insides out of the market from a day trading standpoint. And then after that, it took about 1.5 years of just really working really hard, diligently, right? I'd had a lot of time in front of the screen, but not necessarily was successful, consistently. And so long story short, really built that up. And then a friend of mine really told me about crypto. And he was asking me, how do I trade this? So I was basically in 2017, 2018, really walking him through, the up markets and down markets, and actually how to trade it, and made him hundreds of thousands of dollars in the market, just basically telling him, all right, you want to buy here, you want to short here, these are things you want to look to do, right? And it was so interesting because of that. And then he made all this money. He's like, dude, you need to get into crypto. You need to. And I was sitting there going, nah, it's that funny money. Bitcoin is going to go down, right? And he's like, it's at 20,000, my dude. How is it going to go down? I said, whatever. Right? Like, I don't know if y'all were like that, but I was that knucklehead.
I spent 2018, 2019 DCAing all of my top buys in 2017. So it took me till the bull run to get my freaking money out. I did win it. But man, I sure was retail. Oh boy.
It happens. Hey, if you're new, like I said, when you first get in, you just want to play. You literally just want to go, ooh, shiny, pop, 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 right? Like, ADD, I would say crypto is perfect for people who have ADD and ADHD, right? They're just like, ding, ding, ding. There's a new launch every minute, right? You can literally go from launch to launch to launch to launch, right? And rug pull, right? Like, but
I only need one 10x for every 9 rugs, bro.
That's a legit. Like, this is like, and you know what? And it's very plausible, right? And or you can even get like, I remember a friend of mine got me, and there was a 100x, and he got into it, and it just exploded, and I sat there, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. And the guy put in like $300-400, right? So you can imagine what he did, right? And I sat there, and I was like, all right, I'm interested. But I still kind of pulled away. I still was like, I don't know, right? And then I got into H&T and their technology and what they're doing with helium. And that's when I put 2 and 2 together. That's when things...
Have they fixed the helium map to be less doxy yet?
No, I don't even know.
Because I can spot the 2 different helium miners in my area, and given that I own a landscaping company, I know those streets. I know exactly where houses with crypto are. That's the one thing I don't like about that network, is that I can come to your house.
Yeah. That's the biggest issue, right? That I don't like, is the fact is that you can, and I understand, or at least allow it to be a private area, right? At least go through and say, okay, I'm going to shield my area, right? And just allow there to be a blanket, what's the word am I looking for? A blanket, a validation, right?
In urban areas where there's a bunch of dots, or in more, it's different. But like I say, out here, the one in our area, this is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, and there are 3 houses on that street. I would feel so insecure.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I would too. So it's just interesting to see what's actually going on. But as you know, we're still in this section, right? Like when I'll finish off my story. So long story short, got into crypto, got into Moonrock Coin. And so I don't know if you're familiar with Moonrock Coin. They basically started off as like a a company that they were founded by bankers who were literally in Bank of America and a few other major institutions that can't be said. And so they didn't dox themselves except for Ralphie. There we go, Earth Code there. Okay, cool. I'll put that into my friend. I'm going to post this in our system. Hey guys, if you guys want to go through, please check out EarthFi here. They are a phenomenal group, and what they're doing, especially when it comes to NFTs and how they're pushing things out, are really great. So check them out, please. They are a great company, and just look them up and see, get involved and see what you guys can do to be part of their community. I think you guys will really like them. They're a great community, I can see. So the short of it is this, is I went through and I really realized, like, this is drawn in real big talent. Like, these are people who work with, Goldman Sachs, who work with, Deutsche Bank, work with all these major bankers, right? Where real money is. And so they're kind of the first people really pushing this. And so they quit their job, their 9 to 5, and started working full time with crypto. And so I realized right then and there that this is real, like with helium and this. And so I got involved as part of a dev. At first, I started off just as a community member, really helping them out, really wanted to see my bag grow, right? And then after that, they started realizing what they did was they would invest into coins and they would create ecosystems. And so you would have XYZ, right? They would have a ecosystem that would invest, say, in the meme coins. They'd have another that invest in the broad market, another ecosystem that invests into, let's say, degen plays, right, or whatever it is, right? And so they sat there, and then as the market started dropping, obviously the portfolio started dropping, right? And so I sat there, and we started talking about how we really need to. I mean, we do have money, so let's go through and create real needed DeFi project systems, and in that create some real big tools. So they came out with a few. They're coming out literally with their own. I can't use it like it's called the time capsule. You can go on Moonrock.com or Moonrock DAO.com, I believe, or Moonrock DAO. Or I have audio. I'll put it all up in the system here. But you can actually go look us up on our white paper. We're as Moonrock Coin, and really we transferred from the BSC system to the Ethereum system, and then people sold off. So if you look at our original chart, we started at 400,000. And like 400,000 or 500,000. We're now sitting about 800,000. But if you look at the Ethereum chart that we have, that when we launch on Ethereum, it literally did this. Like, but if you look at the full chart, like we're above literally where we launched by double, right? So it's like we're still at 2x from our launch. So it's what are you gonna do, right? So our holders are still holding strong. We still got a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, that's what got me in. And so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm doing here just because I love day trading. And there we are. Dude, ooh, look at that. Did exactly what I said it was going to do. Wait for it to reach up and you see it. Boom. Boom. Oh, my peoples. Look. I was going to bring this up to I got caught up talking. All right, we see here now. We're seeing a push. How far is this baby going to go? Let's see here. Like I said, I'm looking for the lows here for it to pull around. So make sure you hit your first target here, guys. After this hit our resistance level, boom. So first target. Make sure we're looking at our second target in here. If we see a major pullback up there, then make sure that you guys are playing that. We see it pull back up to the 400 period moving average, which is right here. Take off the majority of your position there. I would say take off about 80% should be off, 80 to 85%. And then from here, make sure that our stop is above right in here. So sorry, this is stuff that I was talking about yesterday. So yeah, I told you they were pushing it up, baby. They were pushing it up into the evening. So we were going to definitely see it go up a little and then see it drop like we saw. Woo! Yes! Nice, baby. All right, so we should be at 80%, 90% of your position off at these levels right here, guys. On the S&P. Let's check out our Bitcoin. Ooh, look at Bitcoin. Shot up. Came up into our... Why is this still like that? I thought it... I'm sorry, guys. Here we are. Took off all my areas here. So we did hit the daily 8 period moving average. We topped that. Now it's selling off to the lows of this morning. Like I said, guys, we should see this come down. I am looking for that 1700 mark if we do see that continue. Also look for the lows of Bitcoin coming in. Looks like, let's check out that 5-minute. Boom. So we did hit that 400 period moving average. Look for it to maybe come down and test our lows here. Nice play. Sorry, give me a second. So I love this stuff, man. I love it. This is my passion. And I was telling the community, look, we had to push up this in the evening. We should see a sell off. Because what happens is institutions are starved for orders. And so they take in the lemmings, the retailers, right? And they get them to buy. So all of a sudden they're saying, oh, we're going to go long, right? But the reality is what they do is they drop it. And so because what happens, they'll do a little push up to get them to basically to jump in, right? To get them to jump in. And then from here, but for me, I was looking at this going, and as we were talking, I didn't want to interrupt this, but we're definitely putting in seller wicks in these levels. So it's definitely more bearish, and I forgot to bring it up. So, but yeah, right there, guys, like right there, rally up into the evening, right here into the morning report. And now we should see Bitcoin continue at least down to the 18,512. If we come and hit the 18,512, then we then should see it then come back, hit a retracement level like we're seeing it do on that 400 period moving average. See it drop through, retrace, and then we should see another sell-off pass through here. We'll see another one that passed through this area where it looks similar to where it drops down into major moves. Come on, baby. It should look like this. Boom, drop, right? Boom, come back, retest, and continue down into our level here. Now, we'll find out if it decides it wants to do that, but these are just some of the things I'm talking about when it comes to the market moves. All right, let's jump back to you guys. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. It was fun watching you get excited. You're
Yeah, I was looking at.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be
you gotta
No.
you can come hype us up anytime.
Oh man, I love it, man. I like to come in, talk to you guys, and like I said, I love. This is what I do, right? This is literally what I do. So, it definitely got me in, and I am happy. So, run, baby, run. Give me 1 second. I just want to move my last target down further in case we see it drop even further. So the aspect of crypto, and this is where I think we see, right, is that you have these major moves. I mean, in exaggeration over the regular market. So the opportunity for a day trader or anybody else to make money is strikingly different, right? Is that you do have these major moves. But in the same sense, I also say that you can lose money just as bad if you don't know what you're doing. So when Chris brought me on and was really teaching me a lot of the stuff, it was thing. And you can find Chris on Twitter as 2050 or Easy Money 2050. Again, that's Easy Money 2050. Tell him Pedro sent you. He will interview you. If he does not like you, he will not take you on as a student. Just throwing that out there. And he's different, and he's good. He's actually from the streets. He grew up from the streets, and he had to take care of himself and went to college, and was bouncing around from home to home for a while when he was young. And so he's a smart kid, or he's a smart man. He ain't a kid. He's actually a grown ass man. So he'll yell at you like a grown ass man too. So it's just those guys from the street. They're just like, shut up. This is how because life taught them, and life kind of teaches you, right? Like life is not gentle. Right, like that's why I feel bad for a lot of the younger generation, right, who got the participation trophy, and you can go into boot camp and raise a yellow card saying you're scaring me, stop, and boot camp guys got to stop. I mean, like I'm glad I wasn't raised back then. I really am. So
My house is fairly Darwinian in that sense. It's it's a live or die kind of place.
I mean, you want to be gentle and loving, but then it's just like if you make a stupid mistake, here are the consequences. That was stupid. So yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna jump off now.
Yes. All right, Earthfire, it's a pleasure. What's your name, Earthfire? I apologize. I kept calling you Earthfire. Max, man, a pleasure, man. Hey, if ever you guys want an open invitation, come on in, let me know. Hit me up privately or hit up Chris, and then I'll bring you guys in if you guys have other things, all right?
Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
One. Cheers.
All right. Cheers, guys. Take it easy. Later.
See you later.
Have a good one, man.
Later, you too. Later, man.
Yeah, he's doing great stuff. I actually I bought his ebook yesterday on Amazon, and it's pretty sweet. It's nice art. It's a nice story. It's pretty cool. That is cool.
I like it. It's really interesting, especially in the world of crypto, right? As we are looking and we're playing. Is Stefan here, or did he go to work?
Oh, he's still here. He's just got off
No,
camp.
I'm still here. I'm just working on stuff too.
No worries. The life of a dev. It's funny. My community here, we're actually almost ready to hit. Oh, let me go through. I will keep this on my list. I am limited on weekly endeavors. I appreciate you keeping in touch, and we'll let you know when I can join or in another. One of the guys I want to bring on is Matt Grimm. And he does a really good job on explaining contracts and talking about certain things. So I've been reaching out to him and a few other people. So I really want to bring on people who have really good utility, right? Like really strong, practical, real world utility, and then being able to let them talk about their stuff, because I feel as if it's you know, it's one of those things. And the biggest thing is this, for me, it's the payoff of them. Tell your community about me, right? Let them know, right? Like if you guys like us, you know, as we grow our community, you can go through and grow your own fan base by just sharing me on YouTube or liking, right? Like that's one of the things that I really want to be able to do. And so that's why I really liked Chris as well. So just
Yeah, I think the market needs to shift a little bit in its thinking. I mean, you know, if you remember in 2017, you'd see ICOs with, you know, with real world utilities, and people would hype them. You know, I mean, you'd have a 20 or 40 million dollar ICO based on a concept with no product and not ready to
yeah,
go. It was just conceptualizations, and you'd have these massive ICOs. And now, you know, we've moved into this kind of pre-sale era that is just kind of, you know, it just, everything just happens so fast. You get all these much smaller sales, and the market's interested in a lot more memery and that kind of stuff, you know,
yeah,
and which is great. I mean, it's fun. I get it. But to me, you know, I mean, I've always been interested in things that, you know, I'm from the rallying cry of real world adoption. You know what I mean?
yes,
That's where my thinking comes from. I love the DGen stuff. I own NFTs and all that sort of stuff and everything else. But I feel like there's a certain aspect of the market that's changed drastically over the course of the last bull run, and has kind of affected the culture in the space where, you know, you're getting a, you know, oh, Elon tweeted something, quick, make a token, you know, this kind of shit, right?
Dude, that's ridiculous. I sat there. Remember when you tweeted? I forget what it was. Oh man, it's hurting my brain just even thinking about it. It was something dumb. It was legitimately something dumb. Oh, it was this thing with his he had a little issue with some, not a dev, a YouTube person. It was like somebody in the pop media, and literally we saw 50 coins within 20 minutes hit the market.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it was crazy.
Yep.
All rug pulls.
Well, and that's the thing. And then you've got all these investors who, I mean, frankly, you know, probably don't have a lot of money to lose in the first place, and all that wealth is being transferred en masse to, you know, serial scammers.
Yep.
And it's just really unfortunate because, you know, those same investors, you know, they're not coming back, right? Like, I mean, a lot of them aren't coming back.
Yeah.
You know, when I was top buying in 2017, at least the things I was buying, you know, were going to last 4 years. You know, they're still going to exist. And when the bull came, I was able to get my money back. You know what I mean? There's not a single Elon coin I can think of that would ever give me my money back after 4 years. You know,
you know, I had a friend of mine who was in Dogecoin, right? And so I was walking him through the actual chart and saying, all right, this is where you need to sell. This is reaching some high peaks here. You have some short, you have sellers here basically coming in with some big wigs that are screaming, hey, this market's going down. We're going to push it down. They're selling off. And he goes, well, I go, listen, just if the market decides it's going to rebound, these are where it's going to bounce. So buy it back at these levels, but you don't want to buy it back if it's doing this type of thing versus shoot down a type of setup. And so he goes, all right. So he sells that, just hearing me out because he's thinking he's going to buy more at the bottom. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing issues with, like, I guess the dev team or some of the other stuff that's actually going on with them. And so he was like, oh shoot, I'm so glad I sold. And I go, yeah. But that was Dogecoin, which was a fairly good project, right? Like, and people got, and you know, you had a huge sell-off of the market there. So even if it's a good project, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a slow rock pull, just simply because people want to take, you know, if you bought in right here and, you know, and all of a sudden you have, you know, 2x or 200x or 100x profit, like, it makes no sense for me for you to just let that money, unless you're part of the dev team, right? The core team, it makes no sense for me mentally to not take profit if we're moving up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because you know crypto is going to have a sell-off, so you go in and you buy, you know, take part of the profit, take half of your portfolio and buy in. So it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. So it's like, I feel like there is, you know, I'm not telling you not to buy and hold. I'm just saying have a moon bag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I've done the diamond hand thing where I've gone from, you know, $1,500 to $250,000 and back down to $1,000. I mean, you know, we've all, and it's stupid, right? But
Ooh, that's dumb.
yeah, that's
I'm sorry,
dumb,
not
right?
dumb. I'm sorry. I don't mean
No,
to say
no,
dumb.
no. Hey, we learn through pain, my friend.
Yes, we do. My heart breaks for you, man. Oh, now if you were a dev, now I'll put it like this though. If you let's say that Minecoin shoots up to $5-10 million, right? And in your pocket, you're part of the dev team, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot. Honestly, you got to hold on to it because the SEC is going to come knocking on your door if you do sell. And gel ain't too friendly when it comes to San Quentin ain't too friendly or whatever,
Oh, I'm Canadian. They're like the mafia. They just want their money and they want you to go back to work. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't see any jail for anything here. I would just be a debt slave for the rest of my life, which is also something I don't want.
Yes. Yeah. So, if you're part of the dev team, I always tell you, you just got to hold on and pray that it continues up, right? Because it's just part of it's. When I was with Moonrock, I had a pretty good bag, and I'm like, I want to sell that, but I was like, I can't. You just can't, right? Because you're part of the team, and that's just it. But if you're one of those guys, look, get in at a high, buy in at a low. Like it just makes sense to me, right? So, and buying in at that low, just all of a sudden people see that and go, oh, here's a position right here. Boom, you're maybe buying twice the amount of coins, or even 3 times the amount of coins with less, right? Like, so then you have extra money. So it's like, come on. So, and if people would just learn to do that, you wouldn't have such huge volatile craziness. But
yeah,
no.
I mean, but let's face it, the volatility is what's exciting too, because just as much as it can shoot up, it can shoot, or just as much as it can shoot down, it can shoot up, and that's what we're all here for, right?
Exactly.
If everything was a stable coin, we'd all be bored.
This is truth. I want to bring this up here, guys, so you guys can sit there. So I use a lot of the 8-hour or daily period moving average. So you can see here, guys, that on Bitcoin, we definitely hit that 8-period moving average, pretty on point on Pancake futures here. So it's pretty nice. If you guys took that play, congrats. You would have had, like I said, a risk of basically 1423 to the 1467 and all the way back down into our lower levels here, guys, as I was bringing up. So I'm glad. Hopefully some people there who did take part of that were able to post your profits. Let me know how you guys did. That'd be awesome. And then if you're paying attention to the 8-period moving average, like I said, guys, it was breaking through the 8-period moving average here on that 8-hour. So with that, it would have touched this 20-period moving average, which is the 8-period moving average on the daily. So again, if you played off of that, congratulations. I hope you guys did well. Anyways, go ahead, guys. What you were saying?
Oh, I was just hanging out and listening, man.
Yeah. We're at a point now. We're just watching you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. I love it. I love this stuff, man. And I think it's, I help people, make cash, and then in additionally to that, help them, if they can do good for themselves, and they can do good for themselves. I don't go into detail because each person's a different day trader. Like one of the guys that I'm teaching, right? But he sees the market different. So with me, I use moving averages, but the trading principles is still the same, right? You make sure you have a 4-to-1 ratio on your risk to reward. Make sure that you have strong stops in. The only thing that you can control is where you place your stop, right? And understand where are you wrong at a point. Like above this point, I am wrong, or below this point, I am wrong. Then I need to switch my bias, right, to if it's a day. Pay attention. Get a trending mechanism. I don't necessarily like contrarian trading, even though I love and absolutely adore Chris's system. I'm actually looking at it going, dude, this is awesome. But it's a contrarian system, right? So you are fighting against the trend. But if you learn to capture a contrarian system on a daily move, right? So if the market is going down, but for that day it's moving up, right? You want to take that short at a high probability level, which is going to drop back down again with a very small risk. So there's these small little things that you can pick up as a trader and say, okay, boom, what's going on? So just little things like that, that I try to teach people to see things correctly. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's great. I love it.
Your enthusiasm certainly contagious.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Listen, I love what you guys are doing too, man. I definitely gonna probably buy more coin and be playing around there. I mean, not.
Oh, we got some big things happening now. Yeah, especially after this morning. So we won't talk. We're not going to talk much about it, but people who get in early are going to benefit.
Hey, careful.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah, you want to
again, not financial advice, but
yes.
people who get in earlier. Yeah.
What is it? Get in or cry later, right? So the
that's right.
was saying. Yeah. So
no, we've got a really cool partnership in the works right now with somebody whose primary job in life is to bring corporations to the public. And they're also share our ethos. They're heavily involved in the addiction recovery sector. And so, it's not just for this person, it's not simply the financial possibilities of our company that's interesting. It's also the ethos and the mission. And so they're a really nice fit for us. There are a few gaps in our knowledge, and we freely admit that, and especially when it comes to the corporate side of things. And so this is kind of a perfect scenario for us, kind of a guiding light to move us in the right direction. And they're coming with some really great criticisms that we're taking to heart. And like one thing they mentioned is that we have this tendency in our project to focus on getting better, whereas they feel that our focus should be more purely wellness, right, rather than focusing on a sickness. Focusing on the wellness aspect.
Exactly.
So there's going to be a little bit of a change in our, in our presentation and our verbiage and how we portray what it is that we're doing, so that the focus is more on purely on wellness rather than illness, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, I think it's the idea of like the meta narrative view versus the individual part that hurts, right?
Yeah.
It's if you can get the whole entire body well, right, then the shoulder issue or the addiction, right, will go away. It's the fullness of it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Totally understand that.
On that note, I'm going to drop out. I got to get ready for work here.
All right.
When you have time, check your DMs, Ed, and we'll talk in a bit. You guys have a good one. Thanks for having us on.
Definitely. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers.
All right, Ed, I'll let you go too. Our listeners have been listening for about 4 hours now, 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. Well, yeah. I appreciate you having us on, and I know he's not here, but thanks to Chris for pulling us in here. And I've followed your channel, and I'm gonna chase down Moonrock now and do all that. So I appreciate your time and the airtime.
Thank you. I'll actually go through and put the actual. Here we are. Here we are. Here's our Telegram. Here, I'll put it into our system here as well.
Great.
And then have you guys check us out. There you are. So I just posted it in the public chat, and then also put it in the private chat for you.
Great. Thank you.
This is our Telegram. Come check it out. But man, yeah, I look forward, man. I think it'll be fun to be able to just even correlate and talk. And hey, man, if ever you want to come on, I don't know if you're a chartist, if you like looking at the charts or not, but come on in, man, and we can talk charts. And you definitely are fun. So if you stay up with crypto news as well, bring in some. Say, hey, have you guys heard? I love to hear stuff like that too as well. So
yeah, I'll absolutely pop in. It's a nice space. So
thanks.
Appreciate it.
Have a blessed day. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you be well. Cheers.
You be well. Cheers. All right, guys. We've had a pretty good day today, especially when it comes to the market at large. I know some of you guys made some money, and hopefully you guys did well. Like I said, the market did what we were going to talk about, where it was pushing up, and then we saw it push down. It's pretty clear, simple. They were making up basically a racetrack up, a nice slip and slide for it to go down. There really weren't any major buyer wicks stepping in as we were looking. So you could see that it definitely came all the way down to where we thought it was going to go. Typical play. They were wanting to push it up to drop it down. bring in the retail traders to push up so they can push it off and push it down. So anyways, thank you guys again for coming in today. Many blessings, and I will talk to you guys soon tomorrow. We've got some good stuff going, so many blessings.